Hi, guys. Welcome to the Rivals Review Podcast, a podcast where three men in their 30s talk all things Marvel Rivals, from the balance to the drama and all things in between. My name is Conrad Guther. Not really, but that's what I'm going with. And these are my buddies that we're going to do this podcast with. I have Dehita Work over here and
What's
Vance
up?
Helsing over there.
Hello.
All right, so here we are, talk about Marvel Rivals. So the first thing I'd kind of like to talk about with you guys is just general introductions, a little bit about yourself, and then we'll come back to me. Let's take it to Dehita Work.
Well, a little bit about me. I'm, like he said, 30 years old, 31 years old, I think. Um, I play Overwatch, and just because Marvel Rivals isn't out. But once that comes out, throwing Overwatch in the garbage.
For sure.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right,
I'm
Vance, what's going on?
Vance Helsing. I got a YouTube channel. I haven't uploaded in a hot minute because it's being an adult sucks. I'm married. I got a kid, so
Cringe, honestly.
I don't want to say I'm regretting. There
Ooh.
are.
No, he loves his family.
I do love
To
my
all the
family.
listeners out there, he loves his family.
I do love my family.
most of the time.
I'm cutting this out of the video.
No, keep it. It's
No,
personable.
it's
People
on the
love it.
internet forever
It's on
now.
the internet. It's
But
recording right now.
Yes, it is recording. But I'm a gamer. I play a lot of I played less Overwatch until recently. I generally play World of Warcraft or League of Legends a lot. But once Marvel Rivals comes out, I'm probably gonna swap to that and still try and find time to play it when I'm not playing WoW.
Yeah. All right. And my name is Conrad. I put a lot of hours into the beta. About
Yeah.
70. About 3 days. All the time I wasn't working, I pretty much put in the beta. Absolutely loved it. I'll talk a little bit more about that, obviously, but I know you guys have significantly less hours in the beta, mostly because you have families. Cringe. And
Believe it or not, yeah, it actually takes up time.
yeah,
Weird.
weird. Just I don't
Weird.
understand why you just aren't playing video games all the time, really. But yeah, like I said, I want to know your guys' general impressions. Let's go to Vance.
I mean, I didn't mind it. It was fun when I played it. The weird thing for me was going from playing first person shooters like Overwatch and stuff like that and trying to go into the third person. Like I played Gears of War a lot on Xbox, so maybe like if there was controller support, I don't know if there's controller support for Rivals or not, but it would probably feel a little bit better for me. But overall, like I didn't have any real issues with it. I thought it was fun.
I think you'll get dumpstered on a PC lobby if you go play controller.
Probably. Well, no, aim
almost
assist.
any
Aim
game.
assist is always important.
There is no aim assist in comp when you're playing with other PC players.
Well, that's
Oh
terrible.
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no aim assist in computer games, guys. Come on.
I mean, for our console players.
Yeah, but console players, you know. Yeah. I'm joking. Everybody
Very important.
everybody can play on the system of their choice, obviously. But
PC's better, but we're not gonna
no,
go there.
so like let's dig into that just a
It
little
is.
bit, like about the third person thing. So how did you feel about like the third person? Like you said, it took a while to get used to, but did you get used to it? Do you prefer first person? How did you like it in the end?
I feel like it's a really good as far as like getting your field of view, especially with how the game plays. There's not a lot of audio cues like you have in most first person games. So it's hard to distinguish like where people are coming from, but since you're in third person, you have that wider angle to see everything around you. So it makes it
Yeah,
a
I
little
don't
bit
even
easier.
hear the like ultimate audio cues sometimes. Like the
I
Fast Fallen Witch, that's like the
I
only
hear 'em.
one.
But my problem with the ultimate cues, and I hate to get off topic, but they're the same for the enemy team and your team. So which Scarlet Witch is pure chaosing? I don't fucking
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Yeah, that is
The only
true.
thing that I know is like the little explanation mark that pops up, and then everybody
Mhm.
still dies. It's like, all right, all right.
There's a whole like 8-second voice line or something.
No,
What is going
oh,
on?
chaos! Yeah.
Takes like the deepest breath before she screams chaos.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got
It is
Vance's
pretty hard though.
we got Vance's general impressions. Let's move on to the heater work.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
It's like third person. I remember playing this game, Paragon.
Okay.
OGs know about Paragon. It was before Fortnite. Epic Games made it. Then they got rid of it once Fortnite came out. It was the
Mm.
greatest thing. It was like a lane-based. I can't remember what you call those games, but you take the lanes, but it was like third person, and you had
League of
like decks.
Legends.
It's like MOBA.
Oh, kind of. Yeah. MOBA, exactly. It was a MOBA, but it was third person. But yeah, you would take the lanes, and you also had decks that amplified your powers, and your like. It was so good. But
Wait, is
that
this a
was the
shooting
best thing.
game or a card game you're talking
No,
about?
it is. It is a third person shooter, I guess you would call it. It's a lot like Overwatch, but third person MOBA. Like they're just taking lanes. You take the lanes and get to the core to win.
It's kind of like
So fun.
Smite back when Smite was still popular.
Yeah, they made another game. They basically took the game and made it somewhere else. I can't remember what it's called now. I think people are still playing it, but yeah, Marvel Rivals reminds me a lot of that.
Yeah. But yeah,
It's
so like, let's go on. Like, how did you really like feel about the game, like playing it, shit like that?
I felt like I was having a good fucking time,
All
a
right,
really good
all right.
fucking time. Like, honestly, the most fun I've had in a competitive game besides Overwatch in a very long time. Felt
And
good.
you
I
said
hate Spider-Man. I don't even, we'll get there, I guess.
no. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get
Oh
there.
my god.
I hate Spider-Man too. I hate Spider-Man too, dude. I do. I do. All right. Yeah. So I'll talk about my. How much time did each of you have in the beta when at the end of the day, at the end of
I,
the 2 weeks?
I don't know. I didn't check. Can I check that?
Mm. Yeah. You
Uh,
can look on your Steam.
I had 3.3 hours.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
So that's that's a lot. Yeah, okay. It's like
Yeah.
10 games, maybe.
Oh yeah.
I had 35 hours.
All right. So that's we have a thing coming up where that might be interesting because we have the extremes like 335 and I have like 70.
Yeah.
So I played a lot. I got all the unlockables. I did all that. So my general impressions of the game is I absolutely had so much fun. I hadn't had so much fun playing a game in a long time. Yeah, like the Work said, like since pretty much like when I started Overwatch, and and
Yeah.
I I I just had so much fun. It's hard to describe. I love the third person aspect. I agree with you that the sound cues were a little bit off. It's hard to tell where things are on the map based on sound, but like the third person does open up your like vantage, your
Yeah,
viewpoint a little bit,
Yeah.
and like yeah, that helps. Like you can hang out around fucking corners and like see what's going on. People
exactly.
walking up to you, pop up, fuck them up. I thought that
Like,
dog jumped
oh,
up behind me for a second. And I was like, fuck,
wait
how
a
did-
second.
I don't have a dog. Shit.
You do now.
Yeah,
Oh,
you want
sorry.
to be on
Sorry, I
be
didn't
an
mean to
internet star?
Oh,
Uh,
I could too. I forgot. Oh man.
yeah, no, it's too fucking late.
Also,
Let's just go with it. Yeah. It's past the point of no return. All right. We'll keep that in mind for future episodes, right? No one's perfect. All
Mm.
right.
Except
So
for
let
me.
me pull up except for you. All right.
Yeah.
He's not.
So one of the things I really wanted to talk about, and I think it's the biggest fault Marvel Rivals has, is its optimization and performance issues. Now, I know when I started, I don't know all my PC specs, but before I got this PC, which I got during the beta, I had a Radeon 5700, which is the recommended, not the minimum required, but the recommended for Marvel Rivals, and I had horrible problems with the performance. Just constantly dropped FPS, stuttering, screen tearing, just like the whole thing. It was absolutely horrible until I got my new PC, which I spent way too much fucking money on, and then all of that was pretty much fixed. But what about you guys? Do you guys have any
I didn't
performance
have.
issues?
I did for like probably the midpoint. I started to have a little bit of screen tearing and stuff.
It's like
But
you're talking about like as it got deep into a team fight or
or
something.
no, like no, I mean like the midpoint of it, the beta being out. Like
Mm.
yeah, it was like I had a little bit of screen tearing, a little bit of lagging, but then eventually towards the end, I didn't have anything. It
I
played
didn't
pretty
have a
well.
single issue.
And
That's
my
no issue. Did you have your
and
FPS turned on? Were you like watching the number?
oh, I didn't have mine turned on.
I don't
I was
think I
going off
did.
Bill,
Mm.
but
Yeah. And what specs do you guys run? Do you know off the top of your head?
no,
Um,
I have a shitty ass graphics card. I can't even remember.
I think I got a
Crap, I got
4060, 4050. I've
Yeah, so
got
that's a pretty good one, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I've got a really good graphics card, and then I just also increased. I doubled or tripled my RAM. I went from 8 gigs to 32 gigs.
Yeah.
God, where do you find that again? I don't remember.
And
I
good
don't
computer
fucking know, dude.
specs.
I'm just surprised, because like I was running recommended software or hardware, and I was still running issues, and it's like we're luckier individuals realistically because we're a little bit later in our not even later in our life, we're young at heart, and well we have careers, we have jobs, we can afford the better equipment than a lot of people can, and that could potentially be a big issue for people getting into Marvel Rivals if they're not if NetEase doesn't fix the optimization issues.
I'm curious how like it plays on console. I wonder if they experienced a lot of
that.
the same issues, because at that point it might be
It
is
might
it
run
worth it
better
to
on
play
console.
it on PC, or is it better to just play it on console?
I have to play on PC personally. The mouse and the keyboard, I need that shit. But
Yeah, the range of motion is
yeah.
better for sure.
Kid,
Yeah.
if there's anybody in the chat right now, if you could just tell us how it ran on console, we'd really love to hear for that. But yeah, I don't know either. I just know because I troll. No, not troll's the wrong word. Like I scroll through Reddit and
Yeah,
Steam
you troll.
forums like all day. All day while I'm at work, and I'm not currently helping a client or something. So I'm on there, and I just see a lot of people struggle with the FPS. And what was crazy though is they were still having a great time. It seemed, and that's kind of what blew me away a little bit. But
I imagine
Yeah.
Conrad is at work while he's scrolling through and everything, and he's got clients in front of him, and he's just like, "Dude, did you see the Scarlet Witch things? They're kind of nuts." Client's just like, "I have no idea what you're talking about."
I am very professional in front of my clients most of the time. I think I swore in front of one the other day, and it kind of looks like old Navy me just slipped out, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Shit.
So hard for
Like
me not
fucking
to
did it again. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
I like how you prefaced that we're gonna try and hold off from swearing, and I think you were the only one that's dropped curse words so far.
No,
I
I
can't help it. I don't.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I have
exactly.
to score.
Blame me. All right, we do have a response in chat. For Declan, it worked perfectly fine on the console. The only time it would kind of mess up is with Groot walls. So there are, it seems like, still some optimization issues, but luckily it's a beta. So hopefully it gets fixed soon. And on the last day, I'm not a computer savvy guy really, but like they did a update, which I guess fixed a lot of the performance issues for a lot of people. And unfortunately, I was at work, so I couldn't play that like last 5 hours of the day. It was kind of
Oh yeah,
unfortunate.
it ran really good at the end. I played
Yeah.
until like 2 a.m. the night it was supposed to end, and I guess they extended it.
So let me bring up this then. With how fast, or do you think that the speed that they fixed the optimization, do you think that was fast? Was it slow? Was it just like the right amount of response?
I talked to a buddy. Like I said, I'm not a computer person. I'm not sure what DLSS is. I don't know if it fixed it for all issues. I just have like what general observations of what I see on Reddit, which is obviously a very small portion of any community is actively on Reddit. And they said it fixed a lot of stuff for them. But I do appreciate that it was an open beta, and like hours before they were going to shut down, they tried to see if they had a fix for any of the problems they have, which just shows like a level of caring for the game, or I don't even know if that's the right word, but it just shows a level
of commitment
to the
I think
game.
they really wanted to get off the ground, and
because let's face it, this is the Overwatch competitor at this point.
It is the only one.
Yeah, well, yeah. For now.
Oh, my lights went off.
Yeah, your lights just went out, dude. All right, man. All right.
Fix that real quick.
So let's actually start talking about some gameplay. And like one of the things that really separates Marvel Rivals from early Overwatch is the team ups. The ability for team ups. And there's several team ups throughout the game. For example, if you have a Luna Snow and a Jeff together, Jeff can shoot icicle darts out his mouth. If you have a Thor and a Storm together, Thor gets an extra ability. If you have a Magneto and a Scarlet Witch, Magneto gets another ultimate.
the most broken ability in the game.
On a 30-second cooldown. It's pretty fucking cool. Spider-Man, Penny Parker, they're teamed up with Venom. They get symbiote skin. It's pretty cool. Like, well, I think, like, what do you guys really think? And this is like, it's gonna be a hard question to answer the way I phrase it, I think. What do you guys think about team up abilities? And how it's going to affect the meta and the average experience for someone like us who will most likely be in the gold to diamond range. Yeah.
Deheater, you want to go first, or do you want me to?
I literally didn't hear the question. I was fixing my lights. I'm sorry.
my God.
Repeat it.
All right, let me. Okay, we're repeating it for him. Fuck. All right. So, like, in terms of the team ups, right? The team up abilities throughout the game. How do you think they're going to affect the meta? And how do you think it's going to affect the play experience of the average person if some of these like more busted team up abilities don't get fixed in like an
Yeah,
appropriate time frame?
it's going to be incredibly vital to win is having the better team up. So they need to find a way to counter these team ups or have other team ups that make the game, make the battles feel a little longer rather than you getting wiped immediately.
And
But
don't some of the team ups have a passive? Because doesn't like Scarlet Witch and Magneto give like 15% additional health or something?
yeah, I think they all have
Yeah,
a passive. I think they have,
it's
like, a
something like
passive.
that. But now I don't. From my like experience, I never actually recall when I'm playing Magneto getting an extra 150 health or an extra 100 health when I'm playing. But that could just be me misremembering it. But
That's
it does say
four,
in the game. It does say in the game that the anchor, which is the person required to be there for the team up to be effective. So it's like Venom, the Spider-Man. That's the anchor. And the anchor is the one who gets additional stats. Like Luna Snow is supposed to get 15% extra healing if she has a team up. Magneto's supposed to get like an extra 100 health.
That's
like,
wild. I didn't know that.
But I don't think they actually were getting that extra like 100 health. And I could be wrong. YouTube, don't fucking hate me if anybody's out there watching. I could be talking to the void. So
we're always talking to the void. It's our best friend.
Every day of our lives.
So is it the team up ability that like Star-Lord and certain other heroes would do the cocoon thing, or was that somebody's ability?
That's Adam.
That is Adam Warlock's passive, but he gives that passive to Star-Lord and Mantis with his team up.
That to me is ultimately
Huge.
probably one of the most broken passives out there.
Freaking revives.
All right. Okay, I do want to bring this up because it's a strategy. It's called res maxing. You can res max. And what I mean by this is you can have a Rocket Raccoon, a Mantis, a Star-Lord, and an Adam Warlock on your team. Rocket Raccoon has his own res. Adam Warlock's ultimate reses. Adam Warlock has a passive res. He gives his passive res to Mantis and Star-Lord. That's a lot of fucking reses, right?
Yeah, that's absurd.
That's pretty broken.
Now, I've seen people run that, and they haven't always won, but I think like if they're like really good players, it might work for them.
And I think with that, you have to, with those reses, you have to also take that into account as far as like balancing damage and movement and stuff like that. And I think that's going to be the tricky part as this becomes a more competitive scene, is for the developers to go in and balance all of that, because there's so many different aspects of that come into play.
Now, yeah. So I know I personally had a lot. I didn't have really a problem with the Adam Warlock's res because like depending on like how staggered out the kills are, like you can chase their ghosts across the map.
Yeah,
like you're not fucking resing, dude. My eyes are on you. You don't fucking do it. And then like they'd cancel their res so they didn't get instantly killed again. And Adam Warlock's his res, like you can know, it's a post in its ability description. It says it's supposed to grant a brief period of immortality, but I feel like you can kill anybody that comes out of that fucking almost immediately.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's like a problem with like the code or whatever.
I feel like the animation, like as he's coming out of I feel like you don't have like control immediately outside of the cocoon.
But because of that, and like because you can kill people right outside of his ult. Like he ults you, just fucking kill them again. They're at 20% of their max health if they don't get healed up real quick, right? Like I haven't had yet. The meta might develop to a point where it is toxic, but I haven't had a problem with the reses yet. I just wanted to throw out there, res maxing is a thing. It can happen. Now, were there any team ups that either of you enjoyed the most, like playing the game, like just fucking around?
Scarlet Witch and Magneto.
Well, yeah, of course.
I pretty much only played Star-Lord, so I only got to experience the one team up.
I played a lot of characters. I think the only ones I didn't play was Luna Snow and Rocket.
Okay.
I think I tried
Yeah,
everybody else once.
I don't like Rocket personally. I think he's like the Mercy, and no offense to Mercy players out there, it's just not my playstyle. I think Rocket's kind of the Mercy of this game because like he hardly ever uses his actual gun. it's
Yeah.
it's almost always heal, and he out heals everybody by like 20,000 healing, and it just that's a boring play style to me. He has a lot of
Mhm.
movement. Like he's got a res. He just reminds me of Mercy more than any other character in the game, and
That's fair.
it's just not my personal play style. But
I will say I did
Yeah.
try to play Rocket, and his movement just feels so bad, honestly.
It looks bad. That's
well,
why I
you
didn't
can
play him. It didn't look
yeah,
fun.
because you got 2 charges like in any direction where you can fly, and like he can also run on walls.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh, that was something I wanted to talk about, like the run on walls thing. I don't know if you guys
Alright.
messed with that at all, but it felt very like old school video game style where like if you were running in one direction up against the wall and like you went under like an awning or something and you
Mhm.
just kept holding that same direction, it would just keep going, and then your camera's all twisted and turned, and it's hard to figure out what direction is supposed to be, where you're supposed to go, and
Yeah.
it felt very clunky.
I mean, I have something to say about that actually. Get good.
Carry on.
I
I have something to proclaim. Here we go.
You were
fucking suck,
bad.
but yeah, no, it's like no, I feel it. Like yeah, but like I can't. I didn't spend a lot of time on characters that can walk on a wall, so I don't have a lot of experience. But I can understand why people might think it clunky. But I could just be also a thing it might just take some time to get used to. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Venom felt
I don't-
clunky at first, and then
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I got the hang of it." It was Wrecking Ball.
I was about to
Basically.
say it's basically just
Yeah.
playing Wrecking Ball.
Well, yeah, I know, like almost exactly. The kit's just a little bit different, really.
His ult is almost the same. Like it gets a wide range like damage and
Yeah,
all.
but there's no bombs, and
There's
he
no
gets
bombs.
extra health.
Oh, I
For
didn't know
how
that.
many? Yeah, Venom. Yeah, hitting his ult, he gets extra health per or for how like it's either how many enemies he chomped or how much damage he does, which is actually still how many
Really?
enemies he chomped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Venom's got that
So
that ability that he activates where he gains extra shielding based off how much
Yeah.
damage he's taken, right?
yeah, and
That-
it's like if
It
it's like if
does.
you're below 250, it's like 1300 health.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
Like, oh, you almost got him dead. Psych. I got rid of it.
Kill him 3
I
more
got my-
times.
I can use my web to get the hell out. Goodbye.
Yeah, dude, he was the best tank in the. Well, let's save this. We have a tier list coming up towards the end of the podcast. We'll save like discussion about like the balance of characters until then. But like going back to team ups, I really enjoyed them myself. I thought they were super cool. I wish the anchor was more involved. I wish the anchor had to hit a button to give the team up to their other character, so they have to hit a button to use the team up. That way, it enforces more team play instead of just the anchor just being there, giving an extra ability to that. Because if you had that kind of like communication, maybe Magneto's sword wouldn't have gone burr so fucking hard. But like,
Yeah, that sword is.
that
disrespectful.
sword is on a 30-second cooldown. It does 140 damage, I think, per swipe across the fucking map. So like, if you're just slightly out of position and playing support or strategist,
No, it's
then
not
you're
support.
just dead. And even if you're a tank, you can swing it like 8 times during the duration it's up. You're dead. So if he focuses you with that, it's like bye. It's like congratulations, thanks for playing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ain't
is
no
there
surviving that one.
is there really any other ability that is that impactful? Like as far as the
I
sword
mean,
goes, doing as much damage as it does.
From my just experience and what I saw and what I've heard other people say is that ability just seemed to be the biggest offender. Now these other team ups are not weak. They give like Spider-Man's ability gives him a one-shot combo like on a 30-second cooldown. Like so that's big. Like Namor gets an extra turret that does significant damage in a slow, I think.
Pretty sure
if he has,
Spider-Man has a one-shot combo animation cancel you can do with him.
yeah. I'm pretty sure you use the symbiote suit to do that though.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even in the
But yeah,
beta,
like-
we're already doing
but, like,
optimizing combo routes.
I think I think that we won't really see like how strong some of these other team ups are if we don't deal with these outliers that just show up all the time. Like Magneto is kind of like if you had someone like pick Magneto in a lobby, they just spam the request bar Scarlet Witch button just underneath, like, requesting a Scarlet Witch. I am once, I saw that meme of fucking who's that old guy who used to run for president? He's like he's the socialist, Bernie Sanders.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the meme with Bernie Sanders was like, I am once again requesting. It was like Bernie
Yeah.
Sanders in a Magneto helmet. He's like, I am once again requesting a Scarlet Witch.
You need it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
fantastic.
like,
Scarlet Witch was strong by herself. I mean, in the lower rank,
we'll
because
get
no one looks at her. screaming.
we will get there for sure. All right. So I think we talked team ups to like a mediocre degree that I'm comfortable with. Let's move on.
Hooray, mediocre.
All right. So one of the big differences between Overwatch, the obvious direct competitor, and Marvel Rivals is the role lock or lack thereof, really. So, like, this is a hotly debated topic on the Steam forums that I have been trolling. And I just want to know what you guys think about it. I'm pretty sure I know what you guys think about it, being Overwatch players for the most part, like current Overwatch players and not like quit Overwatch players. But let's talk about it, and I'll maybe play devil's advocate if I even can, because I am very biased on this topic.
Yeah, when Overwatch started and we had open queue or open, roles, I thought it was cool until I got killed a lot. Then role lock got introduced, and it was the greatest change I've ever felt in the video game.
Hold up. So you're saying right now that currently, because of role lock, you don't die as much?
No, absolutely not. Not at all.
He's
I'm
still
definitely
just as
probably
bad.
dying. I'm probably dying about the same, but at least it's not by 4 or 3 tanks and 2 healers just pumping you the entire time. It's not dying at all. Like, at least there's a little bit of a fight.
Mm-hmm. So I
But
think it's fair to say you're on the 2-2-2 side.
I am 100%.
Yeah.
2-2-2 it up.
All right.
I
all right,
also feel that 2-2-2, I can't count, is the way to go. Because
why? I want to know why. Elaborate, young one.
there is so you've got your team that decides 6 of you are going to play DPS, and then the other team is like, we're just going to play 4 tanks, 2 healers, and you're not going to do anything about it. So get fucked, nerds. That's it. There's no matter how good you are.
Role is too strong.
Yeah, if you don't have like the support or the tank to do their job, you're gonna get steamrolled by the other team that's just got the stronger idea that actually has a support or a tank.
All right. So, let's go. Let's dive in on this really. So, like, what? So, a lot of the arguments for people on, and I just want to be very clear, I am also 2-2-2. I am all about it. But I try to keep an open mind to people that don't want role lock. And one of the just facts, I guess, of any kind of game with this system with DPS healer support is DPS is always going to be the most popular role, and tank is going to be the least popular role. Now, a lot of people on the role lock side think that if NetEase makes tanks more fun, that more people will play tank. What do you guys think about this? You guys think that's a possibility and maybe a reason? Do you even think that, and I'm sorry if I'm over rambling, or do you even think something like the team up system will incentivize people to play more than one role?
That's where I was getting ready to head into. That is, as far as like having the team up system, it makes it a more desirable thing to fulfill that team up, because depending on how strong it is, it might just be 100% worth it and just win you the game on the spot. So it gives you, instead of, how do I want to say this? It forces the players to actually want to pick the other roles by having team up. Instead of just, well, they can just, to hell with it, there's gonna be 6 Spider-Mans or whatever.
You can't. One hero limits.
You get my point.
The original Overwatch didn't do that.
6 Genjis.
With the freaking level 3 turret.
That clip of all the 6 monkeys just jumping.
Oh, yeah. Wild times that game was. But like also Marvel Rivals is very young, so I'm sure
Okay.
they're going to implement it. I'm
All
sure
right.
enough people are like, let's do 2-2-2.
All right, the heater work. What do you think about that? Do you think making tanks more fun will incentivize people to play more tank
Yeah, absolutely.
and you
I
do?
think. Yeah, I think so. Like I am, believe it or not, a tank main in Overwatch, but I've only played DPS for the last year and a half because
And you're
it's
not a
not
tank
fun.
main, bro.
I thought you were a
It's not
Lucio
fun.
main.
Yeah.
Support and tank main, mostly tank though. Like I climbed the highest on tank
All
before,
right.
all the changes. But
So
yeah,
you
I
think
think
let me correct this. Make sure I'm
mhm,
not putting words in your mouth.
mhm.
So you there sitting across from me in a different house in a different part of town. You think that if NetEase just makes tank more fun, then we'll have more games where we have, at least one tank.
Yeah, it's important to make them more fun, not necessarily more powerful, if that makes sense.
I think it makes sense. I think how do you do that in a role like tank though, without just making them
It would have to like incorporate
where's the
more team-based like
yeah.
abilities, I would say.
Either
Like
team-based abilities you think is what's gonna do it? Because there's this fine line, I really feel that's just hard to reach of where tanks are giga busted or useless. It's like they do
Yeah.
yeah,
too much damage or they just fucking sit there and take it.
yeah,
Like
that's it. Either like a bull seeing red or, you're just in the corner getting punched in the face.
and you think like the team ups might be able to fix that? Like I can honestly see that.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I think it would incentivize people to play together and play
Mhm.
tank. Like especially if they give the tank like the really cool like power up and let the team up. Just
Now
like they
Vance,
did fucking Magneto.
yeah, what do you think about this? What do you think about this line of thinking?
I think he's 100% right as far as the team ups. If the team ups are good and it actually brings value to having the tank there rather than just soaking damage, it it would incentivize players to go and play tank more or to go and play support more. It
Hmm.
by having that additional ability or additional cool factor, we'll call it, it it brings a desire for the player to play that role. But then on the flip side of that, you may have a really cool team up ability, but the other two characters on that team up are just absolute trash for the meta right now and not worth playing.
Yeah.
So that again, that boils down to the balance side of things.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're gonna see more characters. Like, I mean, it's still super young game, so it might even switch up the playing tank. Like people might want to play tank more with new tank heroes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Um,
that was actually a point of mine I was about to bring up. Is like maybe, dude, because the Marvel IP is just so
I
fucking
know.
strong throughout, like just the whole world. Really, like people really like identify with their superhero, and like
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
Captain America is
Mhm,
just so ingrained into this person that they've only ever played support their whole life, strategist, and
mhm.
now like I'm a Captain America main. I'm playing tank.
I think that could definitely have an impact as far as, your favorite character. Like my son's favorite character is Spider-Man. He has
Mhm.
Spider-Man everything. And I guarantee you if he played that game, no matter what role Spider-Man is,
Exactly.
he's
He's
playing
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
No matter how hard he's fucking throwing my game either.
Yeah.
Not even gonna
Locking it
question
in
it.
on Spider-Man,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
Rolling
Well,
it
and
down
that could be
mid.
that also might be a problem with an IP based like game where that doesn't make sense. But a game with Marvel like Marvel Rivals with such a
Yeah.
strong IP, it's like maybe they're so focused on that one character that there's so much Spider-Man that you got a Spider-Man and other 5 DPS. Just that's all they play because they
Mhm.
love the fucking Punisher.
Yeah.
They're all about that. Like now, so maybe that could work against it. Maybe not. I don't know. I kind of just waiting to see where it goes. Like
Mhm.
I'm still very much. I think 2-2-2 is just the better system to ensure that you always have that and you just eliminate the outlier cases. But maybe this works out. Like has this conversation at all like changed where your standpoint is on 222 or roll queue or open queue, whatever?
I
Absolutely
think.
not. I want 2-2. I mean, I'm going to
Well,
say I will.
hang on. Let me bring it up this way. If they end up doing a team up that is 2 tanks or 3 tanks or 3 DPS or 3 strategist or strategist, then you have to start thinking, okay, maybe the open role queue is. You did play devil's advocate for this, and I hate you for it. But it does it gets away from the 2-2-2 thing, but makes it actually work instead of just being completely unfair on one side.
I've never seen that happen, but I would be 100% for it. Like, honestly, I would love to have like 3 tanks and 3 DPR, 3 strategists versus like 3 DPS, and
I
like,
mean,
and it works.
well,
Actually,
Yeah.
it's an even fight.
let's just jump into that just a little bit because I watched a lot of the tournament that happened, the Marvel Rivals tournament they did,
Mhm.
and honestly, Overwatch streamers have already gone doing goats. They are already 3 tanks, 2 support, and Storm, who's pretty much just another support because of her AoE ability that increases movement speed that can switch to an AoE ability that increases everybody's damage. So that's already happening, and that seemed to be like the high-end meta from what I watched. I didn't watch all of the tournament,
But that would
like,
make sense anyway. Speed and damage boost kills anything if you're mechanically inclined enough.
and Thor just pumps. He pumps damage. He's more of a DPS than he is a tank, in my opinion.
Yeah, he does pump damage.
Yeah. So that's already a thing. I just want to put it out. So that's where we stand. So we still, I think, all agree that we'd like to see 2-2-2 just because it just always makes a more consistent game. Because you'll still have, in my opinion, you're still gonna have those outlying games that are just gonna feel horrible, where you have 5 DPS and you're the only support, or you're the only one willing to flex to any role. Because sometimes when I log on, and I had this problem in the beta, I wanted to log on, I wanted to play fucking Iron Man, I wanted to fly around and pew pew
Yeah,
pew. I wanted to
Iron Man's so
lasers.
fun.
I wanted to play fucking Iron Man. And I'd try to hard lock Iron Man, and then 3 other people lock DPS. Then we have 1
Yeah.
tank and 1 support, and it's like, all right, we'll try. And then very obviously, very quick, something needed to change. No one else was gonna do it. I'd like to catch W's. And is that toxic? Maybe. But I like
get
to
there.
fucking win.
You want to win a competitive video game? What the hell is wrong with you?
But,
What a
so
loser.
I would swap, and and those situations just suck. And I think a 2-2-2 would alleviate that. Like,
Yeah, I mean, as
Yeah.
far as like how it's set up now, where you don't have the 3 tanks having the team up abilities, it is worth it to have the 2-2-2. In the event that they do decide to try and team up and have it set up awkwardly or the balance is shifted as far as roles, then maybe they go back to open queue.
and as of right now, there are no team ups in the ability that require like 3 tanks or 3 DPS. They all the team ups right now fit exactly into like a 2-2-2 format, I believe.
Yeah.
Don't get too mad at me if I'm wrong about this, right? So
I'm sure they're cooking it up. I hope so.
all right. So in terms of another change that is actually like really different than what Overwatch currently has is once you hit the diamond rank, you can implement hero bans in your competitive games. What do we think about that? I think it's small. I think it's like 1 hero ban per team right now. But
I see
I don't
that
know.
that plays into what the meta is and determining, okay, what team up is the strongest, what's the strongest anchor for that team up. Do you get rid of that, or do you get rid of the one hero on his own that is just dominating the meta? So
and to be completely frank, from all the streamers and stuff I watched that made it into the diamond, because I like just hit like high gold, almost plat, is everybody just banned Magneto right away. It's like, fuck Magneto. He's gone. Just like,
Yeah, that makes sense. He was making people not have a good time. But
so what do
also
we
making other people have a really good time.
All right, Heater, what do you think about hero bans and Diamond Plus?
I can see it. Also, like Vance said, it has a lot to do with the meta, and I guess I'll have a better view on that once that's more defined because it's not really right now. I mean, besides what you said, the storm and the whatever they were running.
Yeah.
Um,
And well, in tournaments, to be frank, they have a much more detailed ban system where each team bans a hero, then each team saves the hero from being banned, and then they
oh, okay.
each ban another. So there's like 2 saves and 4 bans in tournament games.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I gotta
It's
But
a
watch
like,
neat
that.
draft system.
so
Yeah.
I want to bring up my own issue with the hero bans in Diamond Plus, and that's it not being just a standard thing in competitive at all. And my reasoning for this is because specifically the thing that was being banned the most was the Magneto Scarlet Witch combo. Magneto would just always catch the L, he'd get banned. And I saw that Magneto Scarlet Witch all through bronze to high gold, right? It was just like almost every game they ran that combat. And like we're all tired of seeing it. Like I personally feel it'd just be fair that all ranks be given the ban system in competitive. That way, like, because metas are going to be different based on your ranks. Your lower metal ranks aren't going to have the same meta as your higher ranks, but they should still be able to have that competitive aspect of the game where they can tailor the game experience to, their own level of play, really.
So while I partially agree with that, coming from playing League where you would always just it was always roughly the same champions that get banned. But I feel like if you're in the lower tiers and stuff, like the players at the lower tiers will never experience like the Magneto gameplay. They'll never get to play
Oh,
as him. If there's a ban
yeah.
in their iron and bronze, they'll never play it. And if for some reason they get into higher ranks and then all of a sudden they're fighting a platinum or a diamond Magneto, they're just going to get absolutely rolled because they have no experience or exposure to it.
That's a
So
fair point.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I still think that ban system should be personally because like I think like in this particular instance that team up so strong, everybody in every rank was using it. Just everybody in every rank was using it if they could. But I think if balance was a little bit more defined, it'd be more like Overwatch, where like recently Ryan's been pretty strong, right? From what I can tell, in like almost every rank. But before he was absolutely trash in high level plays, and he was super strong in low level play, right? Because everybody in low level play isn't as good as shutting down the Rhine. But it's easier the better you're at the game. So I feel like the meta would kind of develop like that, where like if Overwatch had a ban system, lower players would ban Rhine and higher players wouldn't ban Rhine because they'd be like, lol, pick Rhine, do it, I dare you. But you see like my point? It's like I think in like this instance it's hard to like make a case against or for it because the team up with Magneto was strong at every level. It was
so
literally
strong.
a 30-second an ult on a 30-second cooldown, right?
Mhm.
I popped like storm ults, man. I popped Magneto sword to shut down storm ults. It's like, yeah, fuck you, bitch. No,
Die.
absolutely not. And that's like on a 30-second cooldown. I didn't even have to like counter ult it, Like,
And I think as far as like that banning just because of like one hero is just super strong, that well hopefully is what NetEase will do is they'll have not constant patches where they're buffing or nerfing. Like I don't know what their patch schedule is going to look like as far as implementing buffs and nerfs, but if they can somehow manage to balance it properly, then you'd have a more variety of bans that still gives players plenty of experience.
yeah.
Oh, you're about to get messed
Oh
up.
god, they're beating the hell out of each other.
They'll be fine. Knock it off.
God.
Yeah, sort of.
He's mean, dude. The little kitten is mean, man.
Yeah, he's going for it. He wants to smoke.
But yeah, I kind of lost half of what you said because of the cats, to be completely honest. But I think I caught half of it. So give me the TLDR.
The TLDR is as long as NetEase can balance properly, banning heroes will be less impactful to a majority of players.
Okay. All right. I see. So let's get like final opinions really on like the ban system. I'm just gonna put my vote for it. I want the ban system in every rank. How do you feel about it, the heater?
I feel
Word.
like I'd be down for the ban system, but I would say like plat up.
Plat up.
Like gold's probably, I don't know, in Overwatch at least it's like where everybody hangs out. So I feel like you learn your way a little more in gold. So people deserve that practice on those characters before getting, demolished in plat.
Um,
Okay.
I mean, I guess in ranked it shouldn't be a problem because if you do like quick play, then you can have unbanned heroes or just free reign to do whatever you want. As then when you get into ranked, I guess you could implement that the ban system for every rank then, because you're gonna get your experience in
Yeah.
quick play.
Another fair point that we didn't
Yeah,
talk
I didn't
about. Yeah.
think about that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's not the biggest deal that you have to wait to diamond. It's just like I don't like that there's a different experience. Like, and they're always to a degree be obviously the higher ranked players are gonna be playing a different game than the lower ranked players. But like that, the format I feel should be the same. I feel like the experience of the format of the game should be similar from the top to the bottom because just honestly, most of us suck. Like we
Yeah.
do. We're god awful at these
do.
video games, right? Yeah, like I peaked diamond in Overwatch, and I'm not gonna get higher than that. There's no fucking way. I got a career. I don't have the time to grind the game. I can't stand the game like
You're
most of
not
the time. It's
15 years old.
yeah, it's the same for Marvel Rivals. You know, I was like, I might hit like diamond. I might hit better because I play games more than you guys do, but I might hit better than the average player. But I'm not gonna be top ever, and I don't want to have to hit the top to experience that kind of system. And I don't feel like it's fair to the people that are like lower, like because let's be real, for a lot of people, this is gonna be their first shooter game just because it's Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
gonna bring people in just because of Marvel.
yeah, and they're gonna be put in bronze, you know, like being shit on because they've never aimed in their life, and like yeah, I just don't feel like it's fair that they don't get to experience the same kind of ban system because like maybe down there, let's say for example, Namor is the king down there, absolutely fucking destroying everything with his turrets. They should have the chance to every once in a while be like, fuck Namor, I'm tired of
Yeah.
seeing Namor. Like, and they can practice. People can practice Namor at quick play and be like, "Nah, I'm done with him." And
So I
and
wanna
top.
bring up one more point that we didn't talk about as far as the ranking
Yeah.
system or the banning. So by having the banning system in all ranks, you now have a metric that you can determine what's really strong in the lower ranks as compared to what's really strong in the upper ranks, and how do you balance it to bridge that gap to where the higher you get what I'm saying? It bridges it together.
Yeah, and even if it's not accurate, like maybe Namor isn't actually strong, just it has an auto aim turret, so it just does well for people that don't use cover, right? It just kills people that don't use cover. So like maybe that's not an indication of like how strong Namor is, but it's a perception thing of a certain amount of the player base and how they perceive that character, which is definitely important like metric to have. Yeah.
Honestly, everybody can just get good. That's all
Yeah,
you gotta do.
all you gotta do, dude,
Metas,
Just get
none of that
good.
matters.
if you're not fucking hitting the Kovacs or the aim labs
Yeah.
for 30 minutes before your rank games, like what the fuck are you doing here?
You're
Honestly. Honestly, get the fuck out.
Uninstall.
Oh, Jay. Dude.
Uh,
Oh,
Oh,
dude, dog
uh,
parks are the worst.
Oh,
My cat is
God.
fighting to get in this room. Like the paws are underneath the door trying to open the fucking
all
bottom
right.
of the door.
So
Like,
like we're going on to the topic I might be the most excited for, and that's the drama. I love fucking drama.
you're gonna have to fill me
Like
in
the-
because I have no idea.
the basic
about
white
the
bitch that you
Marvel
are.
Rivals.
So this is preceding the beta. We're going to talk about this. And this one has kind of already been handled, but I just want to bring it up for maybe anybody who doesn't know. But when they did the closed alpha test and they hired a bunch of streamers to come play their game, the streamers had to sign a contract stating they wouldn't talk shit about the game.
Good old
they
Disney
couldn't,
fashion.
they couldn't speak negatively of the game. So like,
Your
what
mouth
do you
shut up.
guys think about that? And I'm going to step away for a second, but I still have on my mic.
All
So-
right.
Let me know. What do you think about that?
I think that by not allowing people to criticize your game, it shows weakness. Like, it shows that you are
Yeah,
not confident in the game or the product that you have designed. You're not confident in that you're going to maintain a player base.
exactly.
By not accepting that criticism just makes you look weak.
Yeah, and the worst part about that is that it's not a bad game. Like it's a good game. Like they should take the criticism head on, fix what's wrong that people
Yeah.
hate, and it'll be successful. But I mean, Disney.
Yeah, no, for real. I do want to be straight up though. Is like after a couple other streamers that weren't involved in the closed alpha found out about this and they kind of spilled the beans on the contract, NetEase did go back on it. They removed that part of the contract and people are allowed to talk shit about it.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good for them. But I mean, you
Yes,
should have did it to begin with.
yeah, it should have never been involved. It should have never been a, hey, don't talk crap about our game or we'll sue. Like,
Yeah.
meh. I mean, I guess they didn't have to let people have access to the alpha, but still, I mean, you're gonna have criticism regardless of when the game comes out. You might as well get that criticism out in alpha so you can go in and fix it, and then it's ready for beta, and then you just take more. You don't have as much criticism coming in all at once.
Okay. Okay. All right. No, I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny, and like I personally, I thought really negatively about it before I actually played the beta. Before I played the beta and had a blast, I'm like, this is obviously gonna flop. Overwatch forever.
Yeah.
This
Overwatch
fucking
clone.
sucks. Like who would do this? That was just a bad idea. But
I'll start playing
yeah,
it.
but they did go back on it and they did retreat that, and there's like been valid criticisms. And to be completely honest, I have not found much negative reviews about the game on
Yeah, me
YouTube,
neither.
on the forums. I saw like one game journalist like write a negative review, but it was like one, and it was like obviously someone was spawn camping him or something. He
Yeah,
was
he
not
was
having a good time.
mad.
Just had a
But
bad time.
Spider-Man.
all right,
Um,
right. And we'll keep this one rather short because it's the alpha. I haven't back. We kind of moved past it.
yeah.
We're living in the fucking future. It's
Mhm.
2024, And I want to talk about the beta key incident though. Are we all familiar with the beta key incident? Or I'm gonna explain
Like
anyways.
not getting one when
Yeah.
Oh
it's
yeah,
time to get one.
a lot of people weren't happy about
Like,
not getting a
It
beta
was
key.
so
that was
stupid.
me too.
All right, so okay, so let me give some like some history. This is a class already. So, in order to get a beta key, you could do it the old-fashioned way, signing up for the beta, and they release keys and waves leading up to the beta. The other way to do it was watch a streamer streaming Marvel Rivals for an hour. Now, you would think after watching the stream for an hour, you could just claim a key.
Yeah,
That wasn't the case.
it was
So
not.
the keys actually released in a set amount of keys were released every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And a lot of people didn't get keys because they disappeared really fast. Because you had to do a lot of things like link your Marvel Rivals account to your Twitch account, and then you had to
Mhm.
you actually had to claim the key in Twitch, and then
Time.
take that key and then go claim that key to Marvel Rivals, where you also had to link your account on that site. And I was lucky. I did it that way. The first day, got my key. I
Nice.
played till level 6. I gave my key to Dante or to Heater
Mhm,
Work. And then he
mhm.
played to level 6 and he gave his key to Vance.
Yep.
And that worked out for us, but a lot of people didn't get keys. And then, uh, turns out a lot of people were botting keys. And they were
I
botting
didn't
the
Oh,
know
keys and
that.
then selling them. Yeah, and then selling them on eBay and shit. Yeah.
why are we terrible
Yeah.
people?
Yeah.
God.
So,
Come
what are
on.
your just general thoughts over the drama? I feel horrible for the people that didn't get to play the beta because it was awesome and I had such a great time and I wish other people would have do it. But I also think it's really funny. I do
Yeah.
like the
Well,
whole situation.
I tried 3 days in a row to get a key.
Yeah.
Like you told me, like the first day, like you told me, and then I was like, I'm just gonna claim it to give it to Vance, like the one I would have for watching the time, and then I just couldn't. Like each time, it was like, nope, none available. It's like, damn.
so my issue is I put my son to bed at 8 o'clock. So
Oh yeah.
me trying to get the time to get on there and get a key was rough as it was. And the day that I was available to try and claim the key, I got the hour watched and then logged in on their website to link my account and went to go do the redeem key. There were so many people that it was just crashing the web page, and it would not load or it wouldn't connect in time.
Yeah.
And by the time it finally let me through, it was like, oh, all the keys are gone. I'm like, well, that's fucking stupid. I invested this time. Like, I spent probably
quicker.
how could I have been quicker? The fucking page crashed. But
yeah,
I spent about
too,
I spent 45 minutes refreshing that page, trying to get it to work. And when it finally worked, and I was like, oh sweet, I can click redeem key. The keys are gone. Like, how did anybody get a key?
I got lucky. I was like sitting there at the time 8 o'clock rolled, and I already was like preloading the page and doing the captcha. Like, come on, and I got my key that way.
Yeah, that was a poor decision in my opinion as to how to roll out beta keys.
Yeah, just let you watch the hour and then claim it and then go about your day. They probably would have more people playing it. I mean, maybe that's why. Maybe they just wanted to limit how many people they had on the servers or whatever.
Yeah, that is true. Like, it definitely was like the limit the amount of people on the servers, because this wasn't like really a server test. I think that's more like for the open beta to see how many people they can handle. But but yeah, like, what do we think about the strategy? Because I think it was very obvious the way they did it was to generate hype. Like, to release a set amount of keys every day, generate hype, make it exclusive. Now, is that like their business practice, or should they have like recognized the threat that bots might farm keys to make an additional profit out of the beta? Is that something that's okay that slipped past them? Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I feel like they should have seen that coming. Like, people bought everything, concert tickets, like they're botting it.
I mean, yeah,
I don't know how much what they can do about it. I'm not very like tech savvy like that, but
my camera
I
died?
feel like they should have seen that coming. You're frozen.
I am frozen.
Yeah,
why am I frozen?
You're frozen on the face where you're thinking very hard.
Yeah.
Or I just really have to poop. One of the two.
Yeah. Oh, we're recording anyway, so this is fine.
Well, oh, there he goes. He's gone.
I'm still here. I'm just fixing my
Well,
camera.
while you're there
we
you go. Now tell me what you think, Vance. Like, like, is this something NetEase should have seen coming? Are they at fault? Because what they did do is their apology was to extend key drops the exact same way just for a couple more days, like 4 more days. It's like, we're gonna keep doing it this way, but for like 4 more days. Sorry, guys.
I mean, I don't think anybody can truly anticipate how people are going to bot. So, oh, my camera shut off again.
What's going on?
I think my battery just died. I think that's the issue.
You have a wireless camera?
No, it's a EOS Canon. It's like an actual camera.
Oh, okay.
And
it
uses the battery to power it, and then it just plugs in and monitors that way. But you can enjoy that face that's sitting there. Fuck. What was I saying? I don't think anybody can truly plan for a botting system, especially in the way that they did it. It might have just been an oversight, but it was a problem. The entire key rollout system was very flawed, in my opinion. And it is their right to be able to do it that way, but I think if you wanted to generate more hype, you would want more players to come in and play it, and there probably had to have been a better way they could have rolled the keys out than what they did.
Yeah, I mean, more players means more content. There's not a lot of content out there on this. So you think?
Yeah, no.
That's why we're doing this.
I'm sure.
Well, I also I'm just like, I'm crazy about the game. I just want to play it more.
I'm not having fun playing Overwatch anymore. It's like,
no, it's not the same. It doesn't hit the same. It doesn't hit the same. I
Doesn't
want
hit
to
the
play Doctor
nostalgia
Strange,
factor.
man. Yeah, I just want to hit.
I just want to sit in the sky and just launch rockets from down lane.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And my own personal thoughts on like teams. I'm one of the lucky people that did get a key relatively early into the beta. I got to play it a long time, and like as the days went by, I just like kept reading the Steam forums at work, and I kept reading the Marvel Rivals Reddit, and like, man, there was a lot of people just not happy that they didn't get a key, and like, and I feel bad for him, I really do, but fuck, I just don't really know how to feel about the situation because it's like, I can see maybe you don't like prepare for bots, like maybe that doesn't slip your mind, but the way they did it, I just don't know, I just don't know. You know?
I mean, but at the
I-
same time, also by them doing this key thing and all the people that didn't get keys, do you think it will draw more people in when the open beta finally comes out? They'll be
I
like,
think
"Oh, I get to finally test this."
I think it will. I know a lot of people saying they're not gonna play the open beta because of this, but I don't believe them. I think the hype that the game has generated up to this point is gonna draw in a humongous crowd for the open beta. If they do an open beta, we won't know until the 21st of what's happening because they're doing a Gamescom booth, and we should have more information about the game on the 21st and where they're going next. Yeah.
Yeah, from what they said, it was. I can't remember how they worded it, but it's
A
supposed to be,
universe of news or something like
yeah,
that.
a
Yeah.
universe of news. That's what they said.
You're gonna
So
bring in the lore. The lore.
yeah, I didn't even know there was lore. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Two Doctor Dooms, and they hate each other because who do I hate the most? Myself.
Speaking to every
Yeah.
millennial on the planet right now.
And yeah, and I'm
You can't
joking.
hurt
I
my
love
feelings.
life.
I hurt my own feelings enough.
All right, man. Like, I don't know if there's really much more to say about the drama. I just hope, and this is my message to anybody out there who might be listening, is I hope that you don't take this too personally, and that when the open beta drops, you take a chance and play the game, because I really do think it's a little bit something special. It's an experience I haven't had in a long time where I actually have been really enjoying the game I'm playing and like super into it and trying to learn everything I can about it, and consuming all the content I can. I had a lot of fun. Yeah. So,
All right,
all
what's
right.
next?
What's next? Next, we're gonna do a tier list with a twist.
Let's
And
go.
the twist, and I'm gonna switch my stream over to the tier list I have open, so you won't see our lovely faces anymore. But the twist is I have about 70 hours. Tahita Work has about 35 hours, and Vance has about 3.5 hours in the beta. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna talk through the characters and what they do, who they are, blah blah blah, what their abilities are, their ultimates, their team ups, if they have any, and they're gonna rate what they think they are, and then I'm gonna tell them what I think they are. So it's a little bit different. But all right, let me swap over my stream. Give me one moment.
I go ahead and pull up your camera. Make you big. So are we gonna play some Overwatch after this, or
No.
Man, that game, I uninstalled.
yeah, okay. I see you just sitting in queue constantly, so
Yeah, I literally played earlier.
All right. Is that showing up on my stream, everybody?
I see your Twitch. Yes,
What
now I
about
see the tier list.
Okay. Oh, you see the tier list. All right. Awesome. So let's do this, guys. Do we want to start in any particular way? Maybe Vanguards and the Duelists and the Strategists, or just do them as we come through by them?
We'll just do them as we go.
All right. So let's start off with the Black Panther,
Mm.
King of Wakanda, King of an intergalactic empire in the lore, believe it or not.
Why is that hard to believe?
Because what's he doing in space? But Wakanda has taken over space in the lore.
I mean, the
They're
most
up there.
advanced country on the nation and on the planet, but
Fair,
you know,
fair.
well, why would
Fair.
they be in space? America
fair.
did it, you know.
All right, so Black Panther. So let's talk through his abilities. So his right click is a spear, and he has 2 charges on the spear. He throws the spear, it does a little bit of explosion damage, and it applies a vibranium mark. Remember the vibranium marks, they're important. His shift is Sprint Rend, I think is what it's called, and his shift it goes forward and it cuts through whoever it's charged. It's like a Genji dash essentially, and it resets if the target hit has a vibranium mark. So
Okay.
if you spear them and then vibranium mark them and then shift through them, your shift will reset so you can shift through them again, right?
Ooh.
His E is a spin kick, and the spin kick also applies a vibranium mark. So the combo really is like throw a spear, sprint ren, throw a spear, sprint ren, spin kick, sprint ren, spin kick. Yeah, like sprint ren. There's a combo in there where you do a lot of stuff based on the sprint ren for like resets.
He's a pummeler.
Yeah, dude, he's a melee character, and you weave like melees in throughout there. And his ultimate is he calls Bast his god and Bast jumps forward, does some AOE damage, and she applies a vibranium mark and resets your cooldowns, or at least sprint run. So it keeps your combo going after doing some damage. And that's what the Black Panther does. Do you guys have any questions about that?
No.
I've seen it in
Oh.
action.
Black Panther has a team up with Magic where he can create a portal to use it to get around. Yeah. He can like create a portal in two spots, like at a set distance away from them and travel between them. Yeah. So what do you guys think about that?
Oh, you got the door open. How did you do that?
I mean, it sounds like I'd probably put him in like B tier, because if you miss any of your abilities, and especially with how much mobility there is in the game and him being melee with how much range
he can run on walls. I forgot that. He can run straight up walls, and he has a double jump. Important.
But still, if he misses any ability, his rend is just useless. It doesn't reset its cooldown. I don't know what the cooldown timer on it is, but
I don't either. Yeah.
It feels like if he misses, like if you're good with Black Panther, then he's probably S tier. But the average player, you're not gonna hit all your abilities and hit all the rends, and it's gonna feel bad. And that I think is what leaves him in like B tier.
All right, and that's the 3-hour review. What about the 35-hour take? What does the 35-hour take say about the Black Panther?
Honestly, I'm gonna say C tier, because I have not ran in. Yeah, I have not run into trouble with Black Panther at all.
Okay.
Like
Now,
most
what
of
do
the
you think
characters have really good mobility. You can
Yeah.
get away. There's a lot of like stuns and stuff.
Okay.
I don't think he's that big of a deal.
All right. So my personal take on it, and I've consumed a lot of content, and I'll be fair, I am not the best player. I'm probably better than these two at this game, at least, because just based on the time I put into it. And I'm cracked, and they have kids. Cringe. And
Man, these personal attacks, man.
I know.
I'm gonna agree with Vance. I'm gonna say he's B tier, and there's a couple reasons why. He's like, right, you got to land your abilities you miss. You can miss your sprint rens, you can miss your kicks, you can miss your spears. Those resets on your sprint ren, incredibly important. But like, he can really mess someone up. Like, he can absolutely destroy a team. Like,
Someone
squishy.
asked, how do they donate?
Like, the GOAT, we really appreciate it. But like right now, we're not set up to have any of that set up. We don't have anything set up to donate right now. So right now, we're doing this just to see how it takes off. But as we continue doing this, we will set up like a Patreon and everything like that. Yeah. And also, feel free to leave a follow. If I can hit affiliate, we can do it that way as well. But I'm also, just not to be rude, but continue on. So we have a flow to this podcast. I'm just not gonna read out comments, but I really do appreciate you hanging out, man. So was I too rude there? I don't think I was. But
Yeah, you're a dick, man. Apologize.
Yeah, how dare you?
My bad. I just yeah. All right. So yeah. So I'd say B tier. One of his obvious weaknesses is that Iron Man, Storm, Flyers absolutely crap on him, right? Because he's a ground-based character. Yeah. He has to do some insane stuff. You have to be super talented to kill like an Iron Man, a Black Panther, in my opinion. I've seen it happen, but like you have to run off walls and sprint ran and kick through them, and they're like, "What just happened?"
I just imagine
You're like,
Steve Carell doing parkour in The Office. That's Black Panther in a nutshell.
But yeah, yeah. So that's I think Vance is right. I would say he's a B tier character. Let's move on to Adam Warlock. So Adam Warlock is a support. His primary fire doesn't heal; it just does damage. He has his his right click is kind of like a Zenyatta like charge, and where he just like messes up everybody. It doesn't do like a one shot like a Zenyatta, but it's very similar. It's very similar. Can headshot, blah blah blah. His heal has 2 charges, and it's like a 4 or 5 second, about a 5, 6 second cooldown. And those do like a chain heal where anybody in vicinity will get hit by the chain heal, and it's a pretty significant heal. But like I said, it's on 2 charges, so if you overuse your heal, you're just left with nothing for a while. His shift is an ability where it's called Soul Link, where he links the souls of all his allies, and they split the damage that they take. Right, so they split the damage. Anybody that gets damage, it gets split between everybody that's soulbound, and they have a passive regen so they're gaining health and splitting damage, right? So like if everybody's low and you pop it and then you get hit by like an Iron Man ult, you just killed everybody. But like if someone's getting dived or like focused fired by an ult and you pop soulbind, you can save a lot of people, right? You can save that guy by splitting the damage. So it's I personally think it's a rather high skill ability. Let's see, what else does he got? His ult is a mass res. If you're within distance, it's supposed to give a brief period of invulnerability, and it reses at like 20% health. So not like crazy mercy res from back in the day.
Full health back to
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what do you guys think? Let's take the 3-hour review. Where does Adam Warlock rank on support?
Honestly,
let's go back 1 second. I'm sorry, man. We're trying to talk about his passive. His passive is the cocoon, the cocoon, like where he can fly around as a ghost, and every 2 minutes, I think it is res himself once, and he has a team up with Star-Lord and Mantis where he gives that passive as well. Please continue. I'm sorry for interrupting.
That's all good. Honestly, I feel like given in the right team comp or like facing the right or the correct opponent, where you've got the divers that you're gonna have to deal with, he's a very strong pick in that regard. But as far as like for a big team fight type thing, the splitting the damage and that is the biggest turnoff for me. And honestly, I think he's the res is nice, but it's only 20%. Even splitting the res with the team up, that's cool, but it's still, I don't think it's enough to put him anywhere higher than probably C tier, honestly.
You're on correct.
Vance says C tier. All right, let's take the 35-hour review.
A tier.
A tier.
For sure, A tier. Maybe even S. That split the damage ability. Ultimates are useless. You could literally just heal through ultimates all the time. It's wild.
Yeah,
and the
true.
res is, I mean, it may not look his ultimate, the mass res, like it may not be like you get everybody up and they may not, heal up super fast, but still, like people use their ultimates, they expend their cooldowns, and then guess what? We're back. If you got another support, they're healing. Like when they come back, everybody trying to get everybody up. If you have like a Loki or whatever, is Loki part of the team up with Adam Warlock?
He is not. No.
Oh, it's the
Adam Warlock's Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Guardians
So
of the
he's
Galaxy.
the Mantis and Star-Lord. Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I love me some Mantis. I played the crap out of Mantis, but yeah, I think he's A tier for sure.
A tier. All right. So let's take my point of view. I'm the 70-hour individual. Played about too long, maybe. I had a fun time. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's good. Everything's okay. And I actually agree with the heater work in this case. He's an A tier support, and let me just like expand on that just a little bit. One, he's the I'm gonna do it myself healer, right? They're strategist. It's like there's an Iron Man that has problems. Guess what? Adam Warlock's a hit scan. Go take care of it yourself. Like the res could be so strong if used properly. If you can time it right with your cooldowns where you have Soul Link and both your heals, like you can just like res Soul Link, revive them. You don't have to worry about getting team wiped as much, and you have a chance of retaking that point. And also, yeah, like the heater work said, the soulbind can, like, if you're being solo targeted by an ult, like you can survive that. Now there are cases where, like, if you're being hit with like a storm ult, for example, which is the giant tornado, and you soul link 3 people, and all 3 of you are still in the tornado, you're taking the same amount of damage whether or not you use that shift or not, right?
Right.
So sometimes it's not useful, but like in an isolated incident, where like a person is being like targeted, you can save them with that, and it's super strong if used properly. And his heals are massive heals if you can keep the rotation like Zarya bubbles. Like if you're not spamming both of your heals and you can keep one coming off a cooldown as you use the next, he can put out a lot of heals. Not as much as some other healers, but he's a very, very strong in those regards. Like, yeah.
I guess that's fair.
That's
I again, having only 3 hours in the game and only really playing Star-Lord, that
that's fine.
and
Like that's why I thought this tier list would be fun, is because you did only get a couple hours into the beta. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm?
It did the heater die? He ran away.
Oh, is he gone?
I mean, I see a chair staring at me, so I'm gonna
Oh.
assume he disappeared.
Well, while we're waiting on him, we can just move on to the next character because you're going first, anyways.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange was probably one of my favorite tanks to play. So he's a little bit harder to describe now that I think about it. So he has his primary fire, right? His primary fire, it's called the Daggers of the Knock, and he throws magic forward in a projectile, kind of a slow-moving projectile too. And it does pretty good damage on impact. And as he hits, it's like if he hits his full Daggers of the Knock, he gets like 20, 25 anti-magic that builds up. You can see it on his cloak. Once that hits 100, he can't be healed. Yeah, an anti-heal applies to him. His right click is a shield with 800 health. It's a magical shield, blah, blah, blah. You know. So we're just talking about Doctor Strange. I think you know most of what Doctor Strange does.
Oh, yeah.
So right click, shield. His E, I forget what it's called, but it's the mechanic that gets rid of anti-magic as it gets too high, right? So if your anti-magic's hitting 80, 90, you pop E, you do an AoE explosion that's damage is based on how much anti-magic you had, and you could do that. So like the combo really is like to go in there, get a couple daggers to knock in there, pop your E, blow up a squishy.
Okay.
But you got to get pretty close to get that E in. His that might be his shift. His shift is a fly, right? He can fly with his cloak. It's like 6 seconds. It's not that long. It's great. It's great to like do some stuff though. Like you can pop shift and you hold your shield and just completely block off a hella ult. There's like some really interesting ways you can use it.
Yeah, I saw you do that. That was funny.
Yeah, I'd love doing that. And his he also has I forget on what button it is now, but he has and I think it's a 3-minute cooldown. It's 2 to 3 minutes, somewhere in that range, of his portal where he can actually connect two points on the map. Just anywhere on the map, he can connect 2 points. It's nothing like a symmetric turret. It's honestly crazy how creative you can be with this portal. You can do so much with it. You can put it in front of people's spawn doors, and if they walk through it, they fall off the map. You can put it high above them because you know people don't look up, and then like shoot an Iron Man ult through it because they have no idea where it's coming from. You can do like a lot of cool things with this portal that people won't expect. One of the funniest things I've seen is Jeff swallowing up the enemy, taking him back to his own spawn, the Jeff spawn, through a portal, and then spitting him out in the enemy spawn. So the enemy is trapped in the friendly spawn, and they can't get out because of how the programming worked. And a couple of Jeffs would abuse that. But it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny.
That's so dumb.
And it's only until the doors drop at which, point change. So it wasn't for the whole game. They've just taken out of the combat for a point. Obviously, it has to be fixed, but yes, it was funny. And that's Doctor Strange. Let's get our 3.5 hour review.
Honestly,
where would you put him?
That
Oh my god!
Everything described like the anti-magic, like managing that that's your DPS cooldown, we'll call it. But that's also based off you hitting things. The anti-heal, yes, that is annoying, but that is a way to balance him. The portals is absolutely busted in my mind, because if you can...
Yeah, but very long cooldown.
Yes, but...
You only use 2 or 3 a whole game, yeah.
But if you need to get behind the enemy line, you just set up that portal, and now your team is on the back line just immediately. Like, if the other team's not prepared for it, that is a game-winning, like, mechanic.
They aren't. Because it's kind of like Symmetra TP and 2CP. You remember like Temple of Anubis and like Hanamura and stuff, where Symmetra would just teleport through the choke onto the point, and like everybody would be like, oh!
Yeah,
it's kind of like that. It's kind of exactly like that, yeah.
And that will win you a team fight, or win you the point, or the game for that matter. The shield, that's nice. It looks like it's kind of like a combination of Rhine / Sigil sort or
Dude, I
Sig Shield.
forgot to talk about his ultimate before you put a rating. We
Oh
forgot to
yeah,
talk about his ultimate.
about the Eye
His
of
ultimate is the Eye of Agamotto, and it's an AoE stun, essentially, where he knocks out the souls of the people around him that don't block it off or get cover, and he can directly attack those souls to do damage. Yeah, anybody can. And it's a very short stun, but if used in combination with other ults, it's pretty strong. Yeah.
Do they take amplified damage or anything while they're in their soul state?
I do not believe so, but do not quote me on that.
That would be
Because you
absolutely
can attack
busted.
the body too. It's just like a larger area to do damage to them. Now, I think they can take 2 instances of damage. And what I mean by that is if you have like a wide melee attack, I think you can get during one melee attack, you can get an instance of damage on the soul and an instance of damage on the body. But don't quote me.
God, that honestly, all of that just makes it sound like he's just S tier. Like he is going to be, as far as like the mobility, the being able to shut down the enemy team, and the basically double damage if you play it right, if you get the right team comp with it. That just seems absolutely insane. So I'm gonna put him in S tier.
Okay, that's the 3.5-hour review. S tier. First one. All right, let's get the 35-hour review.
Yeah, like both what you guys said, his kit is, you can utilize it in so many ways. He's so strong. I would say A tier just because
Okay.
I haven't seen a lot of him played in my rank, but I know like in the upper ranks, like people use him quite a bit. And he pumps like from the gameplay I've watched. Yeah, like his ultimate, especially like combined with somebody else's ultimate, like it does so much. That big stun, you can almost guarantee a team wipe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say A.
Yeah, and I honestly agree with the both of you. I find it hard. I would put him at the bottom of S tier or the very top of A tier, just personally. And I say that because he is so creative. I thought honestly when I first started playing that he was one of the more boring, straightforward tanks. But the more I played with him, like you can get really creative and just really carry a game. You can the shield can stop a lot. His ult is super strong if you're in a coordinated environment. If you're in a coordinated environment, the portal does exceptionally a lot on a 3-minute cooldown. It's like very strong. And like if used, I think, and this is where I'm gonna leave him at the top of A, and specifically because of this, is like I believe to get the most value out of Doctor Strange, you have to be in a heavily coordinated environment, which unfortunately for most of us playing, it just won't happen. People won't use your portals, they won't follow up on your ults. But if you're in a coordinated environment, I would put him in S. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. I'll agree with that.
I agree with that.
Yeah. All right.
The Strange Pounds.
The Strange Pounds, dude. I fucking love Doctor Strange. I played a lot of Doctor Strange. So let's talk about Groot. I am Groot. We are Groot. You know? And honestly, his kit, I might be forgetting parts of it, so you'll have to forgive me. But let's talk about he has a like an AoE bomb he can throw with his right click, right? His primary fire is he shoots out branches and a projectile that does pretty good damage. His right click is he throws a seed, the seed blows up, does some damage, and I think it applies like a dot, a damage over time effect. I might not be wrong. Groot's one of the characters I'm not as familiar with, because I just didn't play him because he's just not my kind of play style. And one of his abilities is E, I think. He can put up 2 walls. So he has 2 charges, he can put up 2 walls. He can take the walls down also. He can take his walls down. They're not stuck in place. And he can angle them, and he can put them all kinds of places. And his other ability is another wall, a bigger wall. Now, the E wall, if you're attacking near the wall attacks enemies too. Like the wall branches will attack the enemy. I cannot remember what the shift wall does. I think it applies a buff to your team when it's around. But mostly the walls are used to block angles, trap enemies. He's pretty much a tank May.
Yeah, it does a buff while the
Yeah.
enemies take damage nearby.
Yeah. And his ultimate ability is it's a Zarya grab, really. That's kind of exactly what it is. Is he roots everybody in place. I think they take some damage, and then everybody just like combos on top of them. Yeah. So I know that wasn't the best. Oh, Groot also, let's talk about his team ups. He has team ups with Jeff the Shark and Rocket Raccoon, who can ride on his shoulders. Unfortunately, he can't do double turrets, one of them at a time. I know, unfortunate.
That would be so cool.
That'd be
Yeah, it'd be so
awesome.
cool. And while on his shoulders, they take like 50% less damage, right?
Wow.
And yeah. And Groot also has. Does he have any other team ups? I think that's his only team up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is it. Is everyone with Star Lord? No, that's Star Lord,
Mm-mm.
Adam Warlock, and Mantis. Yeah, I don't know.
So what do you think as a person with 3.5 hours in the game?
I mean, he seems like he's just kind of annoying. Not so much of a problem character. I mean, based on the fact that we talked about this earlier, that the game is very visual based, and so like having that vision being obscured by walls can be kind of a problem. But at the same time, we also didn't talk about this destructible environments. You kind of could just not give a crap about his walls and just go through a different area.
Yeah, you can break Groot's walls, which people don't.
Well, yeah, that you can break May's walls too, and nobody shoots those down either. So,
oh no!
The grav thing is kind of cool. I like that idea of it. Honestly, I think he's probably C tier. I mean,
C tier at
you say D tier?
No, C tier. No, I'm not. I'm holding my opinion until the end. I want to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, I think C tier. I think he's a good starter hero. Like if you're trying to learn the game and like it's your first tanking experience, then there's some utility there, but it's just not enough. I don't think.
Okay. What about our 35-hour view? What do you think?
I think Groot pumps. I think Groot pumps hard. I'm gonna say Groot is the A tier.
All right.
Maybe even S tier.
Maybe even S tier.
Yeah, like because he, like I have had games where I get stomped by Groot, and also where I roll Groot. It really just depends on like people who know his kit. But yeah, those walls, big deal. His ult, really big deal. His ult just ruins everything. Like almost a lot like Doctor Strange's ult, where you can like combine if you're in like a team-based environment, get a team light, and having Rocket and Jeff on your shoulder. That combo is pretty wild.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, I haven't played a lot of him personally, but seeing him played, he's tough to deal with a little bit, especially people on walls.
Yeah. All right. I mean, my opinion, as someone who put about 70 hours into the game, is I agree with Tahita work here. Is that I think he's an A tier tank. And let me explain that. Like I hate him. I actually hate Groot. Groot's one of the tanks I absolutely hate playing against because a smart Groot can be really creative with his walls, right? And he has 3 of them. He has 3 walls that he can use, take down, and re-put up, right? He can do so much with those. He can block off multiple angles at once. He can put them in positions where if you walk through a choke, you're just gonna die due to the damage of the walls. He can do so much with these walls, man. And that's why I think he's so strong. It's like the more creative you get with these walls, which you can put everywhere, like he can pump. He can pump the damage. He also has one of the highest base health in the game, if not the highest base health at like 850.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, like Groot pumps the damage, and he is just such a defensive character, and he can be really strong in the right hands. And I wouldn't say he's S tier. I wouldn't say that. There's other tanks I think take the S tier position.
Yeah,
but Groot can pump. Oh, come on, Kitty. But Groot can pump, man. And that's why I think. And his ult is strong. He's kind of like Doctor Strange. In a coordinated environment, his ult is strong, right? And that'll be something as the game, and one of the funny, and that'll be something as the game goes on. People will like hear his ult and like they'll Hanzo Dragon through it or whatever the equivalent of that is, Like it'll just become second nature. So I think Fruit's actually like in a good spot to become even stronger. I think as people learn the maps, and I think as people become more comfortable with him, like his walls, he can cut off so many angles, man. I've had Groots cut off my retreats and all that kind of stuff. I hate it. I hate him.
Yeah, you can play him like May.
Yeah, he's like a May with 3 walls. Yeah.
Oh God, May with 3 walls. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like really what he is, and a tank. that
Yeah.
just as he's pounding your face into the pavement, I am Groot. I
I
am Groot.
His ultimate, I am
I am
Groot.
Groot. It's like, shut
Yeah.
up, shut
That's
up.
the easiest
I
way
can't
voice
tell if he's
acting
ulting or
in
he's
the
just
world.
walking down the hall.
Yeah.
It's the same voice line.
Yeah, but that also you can tell when he gets real into it. He lets you know who he is.
All right. All right. So let's move on to Hela, the Queen of Death, the Queen of Hell, whatever
I
she
love
is.
her so much.
Thor's sister, Loki's sister. All right.
Mm.
So she's one of the hit scans of the game, right? Her primary fire, hit scan. Pretty big headshot damage. They did nerf her from the alpha, so she has a stricter fall off range, I believe it is. She can turn into a raven and fly in a straight line. She cannot control the flight of the raven. It's a set path after in the direction you're aiming. She flies there after a brief minute. She comes out. She has if you hold space while she's falling, she floats. She can, with her right click, she can shoot like several of her like needles out. It's like a bunch of needles that hit the target and they explode after a delay. Right. So pretty big damage if you can land them all. Kind of hard to land them all. And I think and she has on her E, she has a stun that she throws, a little ball that if it hits a target, it stuns the target. And her alt, she screams something. I can't remember what it was, but I could tell you if I heard it. And she flies up into the air. She has like 1,000 health in the air, and she can launch these ravens just across the field that do massive explosive damage.
Yeah.
Let's hear our 3.0 review.
Given the
Go
times that
back. I forgot about the team ups because I forgot.
Oh
Back.
yeah.
She has a team up with Thor and Loki, where Thor and Loki die and she gets a kill, they get rezzed
at full health,
at full health.
That
Full fucking hell.
immediate S tier. You get to bring a tank. You get to bring a tank back and a healer back immediately after you kill somebody. Oh, it's at the end of a team fight. She pops ult. Well, hey, guess what? I just brought both of those guys back. That is absolutely insane. And given the few games that I had played when I saw her, she was a pain to deal with. So I'm putting her in S tier.
All right. What about our 35-hour review?
Oh, S tier for sure. She can two tap.
She can do that.
If you can aim, you win. The DPS have no chance. If you can aim, of course. But yeah, and I mean her ultimate is good. It's not really all that. Like it can be stopped pretty easy, but just her primary fire by itself.
Yeah, a
is
few
strong.
counters to Hela ult. I just want to put out there for anybody not listening, or anybody listening. If you're not listening,
if you're not listening, you're not caring about this whole thing.
Yeah. But a few counters to Hela ult I found. Doctor Strange, fly up there and block her off with the shield. Take cover. That's a big one.
I am not hiding behind cover. I'm not a coward.
I have found it's really funny just to shoot her with an Iron Man ult and just cancel her out because the Iron Man ult will kill her. Will at least stop her ult. Luna Snow ult, Mantis ult. Yeah, Soul Link can also save people. So there are several counters to Hela's ult. All right, now 35-hour review. Go.
He already
finish.
Oh yeah.
Finish.
Yeah, you gotta say your. Oh yeah, I didn't say what it was.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say S tier for sure.
S tier for sure. You know what? I agree with you both. Like I think the healer works at best when she can two tap. If you can aim, you're a server admin. You just own the game. Nothing can stop you. You are the goddess of death, and these peons are gonna fall at your feet. Like it's really that simple. She's insane.
Like Kiriko when she started.
Yeah.
Oh god.
She has insane damage, and the rezzing is also strong. Not the strongest part of her kit. I don't think it's that broken because you have a lot of bad Hellas that can't aim, so you're just sitting there dead anyways. And from the moment you die to the moment you respawn is like 9 seconds or something. So she has to find a kill in the 9 seconds you die. So she'll often might like overextend and die herself trying to res you. So like it's nice when it happens, but like it's just not something you can count on.
That's fair.
All right. But yeah, definitely S tier because she's a hit scan 2 tap. And yeah, she just wrecks lobbies. All right. One of my favorite characters in the game. Bruce Banner, aka the Incredible Hulk, aka the Green Guy.
One of your favorites.
One of my favorites. I
Oh,
love the
wow.
Hulk, dude. I love the Hulk. And I know a lot of people don't feel like his kit matches his character aesthetic, and I can see that. But at the same time, I love the potential of what he can do in a game. So let's talk about him. He starts off as Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner has a gun, like a diva pistol. It
He's
doesn't
got
do
a
that much
gun.
damage. He's got a gun, a gamma gun, and he's got a grenade. The grenade can cause enemies. It can knock back enemies and can knock back himself. So if you die as Hawk and you revert back to Bruce Banner, you throw the grenade at your feet and you bounce back. Maybe you survive and be able to remake or re-hook. As the Hawk, he has a couple abilities. So he has the ability to infinitely jump. He can charge his jump and jump all over the place. And there's no cooldown to this jump. So you can just spam it. I highly advise any of you that are playing the Hawk to go into your settings and change the jumping setting so you don't have to hold down spacebar. You can push it one time and the jump will charge, and then you can press the spacebar another time to activate the jump. Kind of alleviates like the multitasking in your brain of having to hold down the spacebar and use your other abilities at the same time. And so yeah, he's got his jump. His E is an exile, and I know that sounds weird, but he spits like gamma energy at someone, and if it hits them, they're exiled, they're stunned, but they can't take damage and they don't exist as a character. So you can, if there's one person left on the cart per se, and you're about to cap the point, and you exile them, you can cap the point.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
I didn't
kind
know
of
that.
nuts.
Yeah, but that's like a
There's
niche
something like that in
situation.
Overwatch.
Yeah, that's like a niche situation with it. Like he has his shift where he can give a bubble, like a Zarya bubble kind of, to allies that are within him. So like all the allies that are close enough, they all get a bubble. Now, one of the things that might not be known about this bubble as much is the bubble converts damage into ultimate charge instead of like extra damage. Like if people shoot those bubbles, the Hulk gets ultimate charge from that.
Oh.
So that's pretty cool. And he has a clap on his right click. Boom. Where he shoots forward some gamma energy and does some damage. Now
Thunderclap.
thunderclap. I think that's what it's called. And his ultimate ability is he gets angrier and turns into an even bigger Hulk. I think the ultimate's called like World Breaker.
Yeah.
And like he does extra damage. His melees get a pushback to him, and he also gets unlimited like claps, like thunder claps that shoot forward, but it's on like a 2-second cooldown, so you can't just spam it over and over. It's like clap. You should definitely weed those in because they do a lot of damage from across the map. Like clap in there. And he can hit Q again to do the World Breaker ultimate, where it's the scene from Avengers where he grabs like Loki,
Loki.
Just slams him around.
And just slams him around and like steps on him. But it unfortunately doesn't kill for some reason. People can be healed through it. And I think, and I'm just gonna say this, maybe I'm a little bit messed up in the head, but there's a clip out there of him doing it, the Jeff, the baby land shark, and it's
Oh man. Poor Jeff.
it's just one of those things. Look it up. It's great. All right.
And under me, make sure I put that in the video.
His team up. His team up is he can give gamma energy to Doctor Strange and Iron Man. So for Iron Man, when he pops his E, which is his transformation ability to do extra damage, it charges it with gamma, so it does extra damage, like his chest laser and his missiles. For Doctor Strange, it empowers his E. So instead of exploding with anti-magic, he explodes with gamma energy. It does extra damage. I love having a Hulk on my team when I'm playing Doctor Strange because it makes like killing people like super easy on Doctor Strange.
Okay. It's my turn first, I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, we have a pattern now.
Oh man. So my issue is the remeching thing. To me, that is a frustrating ability, especially with the fact that he has a getaway, like having like basically the ash shotgun or whatever to knock himself away or knock enemies away. That is super frustrating in my opinion. And then being able to remech into Big Hulk.
But it doesn't like kill people when you remech. It doesn't, it's not like Diva where the mech drops from the sky and one-shot someone.
You drop a bomb and then you clean out with the remech.
Can you imagine if you like hit Q as Bruce Banner and like he just grabbed the nearest enemy after he transforms the Hulk? It's you. Just like
that would be fantastic. I think honestly, the jumping is what is selling me the most with him. Because
Oh, I forgot to now that you brought that up, and I'm sorry I'm always interrupting you, but I always forget something right after I talk. In his jump, for flying enemies and enemies that are in the air, if you hit them mid-air with your jump, you grab them and slam them to the ground
that
where
is
they are stunned briefly. Yeah,
freaking cool. Why didn't I play the Hulk? I just roll the Hulk every time I like play against
yeah.
him. So I was like, oh, he's not very good.
so
But that's pretty cool.
we are all three Overwatch players. And we all know how annoying it is for Winston to jump in, do a bunch of damage, and then jump out, and there's nothing you can do about it. That just not on a cooldown is insane.
Yeah.
That is
Well,
just
he doesn't have a knockback as regular Hulk. He only has a knockback as like World Breaker Hulk. And I will say his Hulk HP is 800, his World Breaker Hulk is 1600.
good lord. That's a lot of health.
That's a lot of-
And it lasts like 8 seconds, I think.
That's
okay.
still a
That's
long time.
still.
That's a team fight. I'm gonna put Hulk at A tier. I think he is a good Hulk. He's a good dive tank. He's a good dive tank that also has an escape route if he needs to
Alright.
by demeching and exploding away.
Okay. What about our 35-hour review?
Yeah, honestly, I roll the Hulk a lot, so I didn't think he was that. You explaining his kit though, that definitely opened my eyes a little bit. Let's see. Well, I'm just gonna say based off of my experience and what I've learned in this podcast, I'm gonna put him at B.
B tier? Alright.
Yeah, I feel pretty mid-level with him.
I have to agree with the heater work here.
Man,
Uh,
I am
My
just
70
not getting
hours is
any
like-
support
you-
on mine.
like
yeah,
I have to,
5 hours,
and let me
yeah.
explain that. I think the Hulk in a coordinated environment under the skills of someone that is really good at the game is top of A tier, maybe even S tier. Absolutely fantastic in a coordinated dive. With the shifts, you can save people with your shift in the bubbles. Like he can do a lot. He can be a counter to flying enemies. He can be all over the place with his jump. He can also hang on walls that he jumps on. I forgot to say that. He can't climb them, but he can like hang on them. Um,
How long is
there's a
it
lot he
for
can
again?
do. My problem with the Hulk, and the most people that play the Hulk, is you're a giant bullet sponge slash alt battery. You're
Yeah.
just dead. You jump in, you die. Your bubble gets popped almost immediately. You just die, and it's incredibly frustrating to have those Hawks because like to actually play him because he's so huge and his hitbox is so huge. You have to be really smart player with cover and understanding of positioning and where people are on the map, where you can be at that time. You have to understand your engages really highly. He's just really hard to play, and I don't think he's weak at all. I just think in the hands of most people, he's just not going to be that great.
That's fair. But you know, we're taking these on the average player scale, not
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the grandmasters and top 500s.
yeah.
Mhm.
I'll say I had one game where I was playing Iron Man and this Hawk inted at me all game. And you could just see it. I could see him through his camera on the other side of the world wherever he's playing. Is he was
Sweating.
so thirsty for the air knockdown. He got it eventually. Not this whole game, but he wanted it. He didn't care about any of the rest of the game. He just jumped on me at repeat.
Grabbing
It was
this
like
Iron
yeah.
Man.
He wanted me. He
He's
wanted
going
me
for the
so
clip.
bad. It
That's
was
all he
Has to be
wanted.
in the movie.
yeah. He just wanted that, and it was the highlight of his day. That's what I told my stream. I'm like, that was the highlight of his day. He finally hit the hit. We'll just let him have it. All right, Iron Man, Tony Stark, this guy,
The love of my
and
life.
The genius
the love of your life.
billionaire playboy philanthropist.
He can constantly fly, though his normal flight speed is probably slower, I think, than like walking speed of a normal character. His shift has a fuel amount, and he can fly around the map with his shift. His primary fire is he shoots rockets, like boo, 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 out of his hands. I think he's got like 10 ammo. And he has an alternate fire where he shoots a laser out of his chest. His E amplifies his abilities, right? So he transforms a little bit into like Super Iron Man and all like his rockets do more damage and his E does more damage, or his chest laser does more damage. And if he's with the Hulk, then even more damage, right? And he can press F while he's transformed that shoots rockets out to. The rockets no one really honestly uses that much.
Yeah, they're not.
But
They don't
they're
do a
not
lot.
that great. And when he's outside of his transformation, while he's flying, he can also use his rockets. Like you can fly over and like drop rockets. Also, like very not using them because if you're flying over the enemy, you're kind of dead. They're just gonna shoot you. But yeah, his ultimate is pretty strong. It one-shots almost everybody in the game. It can disrupt Luna Snow's ult because you can just kill her out of it. You can kill Storm out of her ult with it. Like, there's a lot of uses for Iron Man ult. He just shoots a big old blast, does a lot of damage. Yeah. Does everybody understand Iron Man? And we've already talked about his team up.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think, Mr. 3.5 hours?
Just like the military all over again, we're reduced to numbers. Honestly, his kit sounds very boring, in my opinion. I mean, Iron Man is that hero for almost everybody. Like, everybody loves Iron Man. He's going to be a fan favorite no matter what. I didn't get to play him. I didn't really see much of him in my time playing. So, based off of the kit description, he just sounds very boring, very generic, like Farah and Echo-esque. And apologies to any
The
viewers
fucking
that are...
Iron Man slander, dude. I fucking love
Yeah, I can't wait for my turn.
But I will say, the ult being able to basically one-shot anybody is a plus. That is an ultimate, like, counter ult to, oh, we're in a team fight and, you know, Hela's flying her up there and is just nuking everybody, or Snow is got her ult going, and you can just be like, no, just shut it down. That, I would put Iron Man at B tier.
Dude, did he just
Did I?
disconnect?
No.
no.
I said I put him at B tier.
Okay.
Okay.
Did I just drop out randomly?
Yeah, when you said
yeah.
B, literally you dropped
I
out.
thought you were thinking really hard, or you just
Yeah,
like,
I was like,
I just died. Iron Man heard me talking shit. Was like, really now?
all right, dude. What about you, Mr. 35 hours?
All right.
Let's hear it. Iron Man was your main.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, kind of. I played a lot of him, but you know me in Overwatch.
Yeah.
Far as my fucking girl.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I love flying around the sky. Iron Man makes you feel like a god amongst peasants. You don't have to worry about touching the ground at all. You can just sit there and just lob rockets. You can fly really fast. You can get in there and then be like, oh shit, I need to dip, and just zoom right out. And you got a little like you can move your, I think it's the A and D, but you can like dodge shit a little bit, roll a little bit in the air.
Mm-hmm.
I love Iron Man. Personal bias for this one, but I'm gonna say A tier.
A tier. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Like, I honestly agree with both of you. I would put him in very high B tier or A tier. Probably closer to A tier, honestly. And it's just because, and especially in this game where people don't look up and you can constantly fly, if you're playing with people that aren't as good as you in the game, you just absolutely run the fucking lobby. Like, there's just like, they don't stand a chance. But, like, you know, when you start playing with people like understand the game, like, and a little bit more, and you start seeing the Punisher swaps, and you start seeing the Hela swaps, and the Incredible Hulk is focused on you all the time, and you know he's a good Hulk and he's coming for you. And especially the biggest thing for me that keeps Iron Man out of like S tier, besides like he just has obvious counters, is Spider-Man absolutely fucks him up. It's just Spider-Man is the biggest counter to Iron Man, and that just sounds crazy for a lot of people. But like, you'll just be hanging out on Spider-Man, on Iron Man. And Spider-Man comes out of nowhere and just messes you up, comes and webs you up, knocks you out of the air, and you actually get stunned out of the air to where you're falling, and then he just pounds on you. So from what I noticed is like when I first started playing Iron Man, absolutely destroying lobbies. And then as I started to play people that played the game for a little bit longer, they just all went Hela, Punisher, Spider-Man, and just like stopped me like completely. So like I do think he's strong, especially I hear he's a lot stronger than he was in the alpha. But I would keep him in A tier. Like, I just think he has a pretty solid kit for good damage. The team up with the Hawk is really solid, can really pump the damage. It's just, yeah, he just can be hard to play into his counters. Just like really hard to play into his counters. Yeah.
Yeah, when we started this and I said I hated Spider-Man, That's the reason why. Because that's where I am. And he will just come and beat the shit out of you out of nowhere.
Just one
Out of
shot you
nowhere.
at the sky, just like
I'm
what
like
happened?
super high
Yeah.
in the sky. I'm like, no one's gonna get me up here. This little fucking Spider-Man just runs at me at full speed, kicking me in the face. Yeah.
All right. Everybody's favorite land shark, Jeff. Maybe cutest hero, definitely by far.
Definitely the
Relatively
cutest
relatively
hero.
simple kit. Uh, so like so his primary fire is a water hose essentially where it heals people
Yep.
he sprays on. Yeah. Yeah. His alternate fire is an icicle shard that does decent damage or not. Yeah, a water shard, icicle shard if you like I think you do the name war team up. But like it does a water bullet. It's a water gun. He shoots water gun, right?
Yeah.
And and
Squirtle,
it
use
does
water gun.
it does yeah, it does pretty
Really,
good
it is.
damage. And his shift lets him dive under the water, and maybe the cutest thing the game ever does, he'll actually sing the Jaws theme song sometimes when he's underwater.
Oh, I did not know that.
I did notice
Yeah.
that.
So this increases his movement speed and all you see is his fin, and he can go up walls, and he has like a wall climbing in his ship. So he can increase movement speed, decrease hitbox, and go. You can still shoot him when he's under the ground. His
Yeah.
fin will still take damage. Important to know. His E's, he has 5 charges on them, and they are bubbles. They're healing bubbles. And you can place the bubbles around the map. Allies can walk into the bubbles to get healed. You can walk into the bubbles to get healed. Enemies can walk into the bubbles to pop the bubbles. All right. And yeah, and they heal. That's his burst healing is through the bubbles. Now his ultimate is probably the best part of this kit, in my opinion. And it's an all he goes underground and he goes in a big AoE and he swallows allies and enemies both. He heals while they're swallowed, and it's like a 6 seconds while they're swallowed. He can be damaged because his fin's sticking up to the ground. He's like that. So you can kill him out of his ult. While swallowed, allies get continuously healed and enemies get continuously damaged. And you can choose to spit out separately the allies and the enemies with different buttons. And you can spit them out in different directions. So you can reposition teams, you can spit people off maps. There's all kinds of creative things you can do with Jeff. You can get people off the cart with it. He can swallow up people, take them off the cart. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, so that's Jeff. That's Jeff Kitts. He has 2 team ups. He has the team up with Groot, which we've already talked about, where he gets on his shoulders, gets reduced damage. He has a team up with Namor, where in one of the cutest animations, because he eats fish to reload. If you don't know, he eats a frozen fish with his extra ability and turns his secondary fire into an ice shot that does extra damage and creates like an icy platform on the ground that causes a slow. And yeah. He also has a passive because he's mostly a head box that he has reduced headshot damage. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good. Let's see. Jeff Lelandshark. God, I just want to put him in S tier just because of how cute he is.
S tier for cuteness.
Yes, S for cute.
All right.
As far as Kit goes, I mean, it sounds like he sounds really good. Like being able to just, you don't have to actively aim at somebody and heal them. You kind of just leave everybody to their own devices, like with the bubbles, and just make them heal themselves.
They have to notice that you shot the bubbles and pick them up.
Yeah, so that it takes the burden off of Jeff, and he's just like, I'm just gonna shit bubbles everywhere, and you guys can figure it out. That's not my problem anymore. The being able to swallow people thing is really good, I think. And as far as like repositioning and, you know, forcing, you know, one set of enemies to just be way off in the distance and not do anything, or be taken out of the team fight entirely, seems really good. So I'm gonna leave him an S tier.
Okay. What does our 35-hour review think of Jeff the Land Shark?
Jeff, as cute as he is, love him to death. He ain't that good.
Okay.
I'm gonna say.
Explain.
Well, because he, like, if he could be invulnerable when he like was digging, I feel like it's just super easy to shoot something on the ground that's moving away from you. And yeah, I feel like his ult is really cool. I like it a lot. I haven't played him enough, honestly, but yeah, I'm gonna say C tier.
All right, C tier, dude. I'm about it. All right, are we ready for my opinion on Jeff?
Let's hear it.
Jeff is S tier.
Yeah, hell yeah.
In cuteness. In terms of gameplay,
Oh.
absolute fucking trash.
Oh.
Absolutely the
Yeah.
worst fucking support in the game. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate for how popular he is, right? And let me
Yeah.
explain this. It's like, he is every dive character's wet dream. He just can't get away. He has
Yeah.
no survivability,
He
man. He can be
cannot.
attacked when he's Jeff. Like, everybody just targets a Jeff, takes him out of the game almost immediately. Allies will not pick up your healing bubbles. They just won't do it. And your healing just isn't up there. It's pretty good with the hose. But, like, if they're not picking up bubbles, you don't have that burst healing, right? And his ult is the best part of his kit. You can be really creative with the ult. Unfortunately, you can still die during the ult, which I see a lot of Jeffs do. And it's just that he has no survivability from dive, that he is just instantly dead first all the time. Doesn't keep up with his tanks. You know, he just can't survive. He's just bad. Also, yeah. It's like, yeah, I just hate him. Jeff, and like, this aren't great statistics, but there was like a study done like by some random people where they collected data from Marvel Rivals beta and win rates, and Jeff had like a 38% win rate. It was really low. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's mostly because like he's everybody's target and he can't get away. He has no survivability like almost anybody else.
If they
Like
made him
Adam Warlock,
lot
for example,
faster-
he can, even if he dives, he can res himself every 2 minutes, right?
Mhm.
And he can also fight. Jeff can like not fight near as well. And the
yeah.
Soul Link, yeah, he just doesn't have. He could honestly benefit from a defensive cooldown that can save him, and then he might be actually really good. But he's just so vulnerable to like dive, which is like the hard meta right now. So
I feel like if they made his swimming like 4 times as faster, he would be awesome. If he can
that
just
might be just it
zip
might be
around.
broken. Yeah.
If he could just zip around real quick, like still make him, be able to hit him, but like a lot harder if he's moving really quick.
All right, dude. Let's talk about Loki. Loki is honestly my favorite strategist to play. I have most of my like half my hours on the game are through Loki. I love Loki. So like his passive is kind of useless. His passive is if he attacks an enemy from the back, he does extra damage. It's not enough extra damage to like backstab damage to actually matter really. His primary fire heals allies, heals enemies, damages that. Heals heals your allies, damages your enemies.
Now, that would be the most Loki thing ever if he healed your enemies and damaged your allies. We want to be realistic here.
His right click is he disappears, right? He goes invisible and he leaves a clone where he was. And this while he's invisible, he gets a passive regen, so he heals himself while he's invisible. So super useful. Also, like he disappears right from the spot. I think it's pertinent to say, like he disappears right behind his clone. Right, you're invisible right behind your clone. So if you pop that thinking you're gonna get away from an AOE attack, you're just gonna get uninvised right away. Important. His E lets him at a distance put up a second clone anywhere on the map. Now his clone, not anywhere on the map, but anywhere within distance, right? And that's his E. So he can have 2 clones up at a time. They each have 250 health. He can swap positions with one of his clones using the F button. So that's super useful for like getting away and everything. Yeah. And both his E and his both of his clone abilities are on 12-second cooldowns. Right? So, and this is just advice for anybody out there thinking Loki's not that great, and you might be right. We'll talk about it. But one of the ways I found playing Loki that really helps, if you think of his clones like Zarya bubbles from Overwatch, you put up 2 before the fight starts. And after the fight starts, you treat them like Zarya bubbles. As one is halfway on cooldown, you use the other one. Wait till that one's halfway off cooldown, and then you have another ability coming up soon. So you rotate them like that. So you always have an escape option, and you maximize your clone uptime. Just some advice. His ultimate ability is Echo Clone, except you can die.
Yeah.
So you could die and clone. So you copy someone, but you copy them with full ult charge. It lasts like 12 seconds. You can use their ult, but you can die. So you don't have a free life. Yeah. And that's Loki in a nutshell. He has a team up with Hela, like we talked about. Hela can bring him back to life if she gets a kill. So
doesn't he have like an MO field? Isn't that a thing too?
Oh yeah, I forgot about the MO field. So it's essentially an MI field. Each of his clones and himself will spawn a stone above his head. The stone can be destroyed. While inside any of those 3 areas that he spawns, all damage is turned into healing.
Oh, it's turned into healing.
Oh, I didn't even know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, all
Oh,
damage is turned into healing inside the field. Yeah. So it's not exactly an immortality field, but kind of works the same way.
that's better than
Yeah,
an MO field.
damaging is useless.
Okay, so based off, God, that the fact that he's so slippery, and I've seen plenty of Lokis at this point that when they use their clone, they will stand still and act like the clone.
Yes,
And
you
so
can
you
do
have
that.
you have to be like cognizant of that as being an option. So it plays more into the trickster side of Loki's like lore. So that's really cool to me. The MO healing, like reversing damage, that is absolutely insane. But assuming that people are gonna focus it down, like a good player should, it's not gonna be as effective. Being able to teleport to your clones and swap positions with them is absolutely annoying and is a very good getaway mechanic.
Now, one of the things I've noticed that you can do is if your E ability, which lets you put a clone somewhere on the map, if that is off cooldown at the same time your shift is you can use it kind of like an ammo field. It just takes a little bit longer to cast, where you throw your clone at the guy who's about to die and hit shift.
That's so good, and that's free healing. It's free real estate.
Yeah, but it there's if you don't do it proactively, like the guy will die, and now you just have down a clone too. So
I am gonna put Loki at A tier. I think he is a very good healer. He's got a lot of utility and a lot of evasiveness and survivability. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna put him at A tier.
All right, what about Mr. Dahito work?
For me, just off of like the damage you can put out, and then like of course the crazy amount of healing, in that field, he's S tier for me, just hands
S
down.
tier. S tier. Oh wow.
Then in like after all that, if you want to get crazy, you can just use your ultimate, freaking
Mhm.
swap Scarlet Witch, and then just jump into their back line. I love it. It's
Yeah.
fun
Okay.
to play. He's ranged, and you can like
All right. I disagree with both of you, and this is my favorite character, the one I have the most hours on. I'd say B, and there's a few reasons for that. One, smart players kill clones. So
yeah.
if you're not balancing your clone usages against smart players like that are gonna focus your clones, you're realistically gonna only have one of your clones up. And your clones, I forgot to say this, do the same amount of healing and damage as you do. So if you don't have up both of your clones, you're doing 1/3 the damage of your potential can. So if you only have 2 clones, if you have 1 clone up, you're doing 2/3 of the damage and healing you potentially do. Usually against really smart players that'll focus down your clones, you're gonna only have like 1 up if you're doing what I recommended and like rotating your clones like Zarya mobiles. His shift is super good. You can change games. He's absolutely horrible at healing flyers because he has a slow projectile. So, like, that could be a good part on me. Like, maybe I should pre-aim my projectile better. Or it could just be a fact that it's harder to hit flyers with projectiles. But,
Weird.
like, it is. So he's not great at healing like Storm or Iron Man or anybody else that could fly. He's just not great at it. And he's awesome in certain situations where your comp is all focused on the ground. He's great. Can put out massive heals, massive damage. If you can keep your clones up, he's great. His ult could be devastating. If you think about it, you could double Storm ult, you could double Luna Snow ult, and have an immortality essentially for 20 seconds, for 26 seconds for your whole team. Like you can be unlimitedly creative with Loki ult. Like you can do so much. You can be exactly what you need. He can copy an ally or an enemy. It doesn't have to be just an enemy, right? Like so that stuff is great, but his weakness in flyers and clones are what keep him down. He's just so reliant on his clones. If any of them die, he loses 1/3 of his potential. Like, and that's why I'd say he's B. Not bad by any means, but against good players, they're gonna absolutely destroy the Torp turrets. You know. So. So all right. So that's what I think about Loki. And I just want to reiterate to anybody out there listening, it's like we're all pretty mediocre at any games we play. We just like to talk about it. This is just what my thoughts are and our thoughts are after I played for 70 plus hours. So, all this is, don't listen to me about gameplay advice most of the time, I'd say.
I
I'm
don't
not
listen to
great.
you anyways, so
Dive and play. These are just our thoughts. All right, let's talk about Luna Snow. Luna Snow, love her. Don't know who she is. Love her.
I'd never heard of her.
Yeah,
A
I mean,
K-pop star, right? Apparently she's a thing of Marvel. I don't know. So
yeah,
her primary fire, she throws icicle shards. They heal allies, damage enemies, right? They're hit scan. Pretty great. Her alternate fire is a freeze. She throws an icicle. If it hits someone, it freezes them. One of the stunts in the game. Her E attaches a snowflake to one of your other allies. So you usually attach it to like a dive tank or a flyer, and they get partial healing for everybody else you heal, right? Whoever has that ability on them. All right. Let's see. What else about her kit? We talked about that. Her shift is like powers up her primary fire, makes it pierce, and does extra healing, extra damage. Right? She starts clapping her hands together essentially, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Her
Yay!
her ultimate is like a Zenyatta ultimate on crack. It's 13 seconds long. That provides, it not only increases her health to like 500 or so, it gives her like extra shielding, so it's hard to kill her during her ult, but it does massive healing to everybody inside of it, and she can change the stance so it gives a damage boost too. So
That's absurd.
yeah,
yeah.
it lasts so long. It lasts so long. Like, it's one of my big complaints about ultimates is just how long the transcendence on Luna Snow lasts. Like, it just lasts a really long time. So yeah.
Okay.
Oh, her team up is with her team ups are with Namor and Jeff. She empowers both of them to give them extra abilities.
Gotcha. Honestly, just based off of the 13-second transcendence alone, that's automatically at A tier for me. At a minimum, is A tier. The fact that you can swap that to be a damage boost, like once you have stabilized the healing and like you've pushed the enemy off point or whatever, and you just were trying to finish things off, and you're just like, all right, now damage amp, and just finish the fight. That I want to put her at high A tier, not quite S tier yet. Being hit scan is pretty good. That's always useful, especially it makes her useful for dealing with flyers, both healing and damaging.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the shield that she gets when she casts her ult, that's insane.
It's like 250 extra health. Yep.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with high A tier.
Yeah, that's fair. What about you? What about you, Dahita work?
Um,
Where would you? Cat, you better fucking behave.
yeah, I haven't played her at all. Definitely,
Yeah.
that ult is insane. I think I'm going to agree with Vance. I'm going to say A tier for sure because
Okay.
just the ult was it's nuts.
Yeah, it is nuts.
She's so nuts.
My personal opinion, S tier healer. One of the best. Just like a must-have, I think, in higher level games. And she was like a must pick in like all the tournaments and stuff I watched, just like everywhere. And it's for a few reasons. It's like she's hit scan. She's one of the few supports that can survive a dive. She can freeze the Spider-Man. She can do blah blah blah. She has options to survive dive. She can also freeze them and pop her shift. Her shift, I forgot to say, it not only increases her primary fire, gives it piercing and extra damage and healing, but it also, every time you attack in that time frame, it heals you a little bit too. So you can pop that to survive too. And her ult's insane. It's a 13-second transcendence. Or a damage boost if you need to. It's absolutely insane. Counters an insane amount of ults throughout the game. It's just incredibly useless. Charges fast. If you can land your shots, you're doing damage to flyers. You're healing flyers. You have that snowflake on your Venom. So if your Venom's a feeder and isn't playing with the team, you just keep the snowflake on him and heal someone else, and he gets partial healing. It's insane. It's insane. She's just a super strong strategist. Just incredibly useful. I didn't play her for the longest time because I didn't know who she was. She just didn't really strike a chord. But as I saw how strong she is in game, she's just amazing to use. Like, really, really good. Yeah.
Be real with you guys. I have like 10 more minutes before I fall asleep. I'm super tired.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm also tired, so we might have to pick up this tier list and do it. We'll do a part 2.
A part 2 on the tier list. Well, I can't keep you guys awake if you're gonna say away. So let's switch back to yeah, we'll have to do a part 2 on the tier list. I
Yeah,
guess if you guys are going
dang,
falling asleep.
we didn't even get halfway through the character.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that went good, and I feel bad for everybody watching, but we will pick this up again, if not next week, the week after. Let's just switch over back to our thing so we can just close this out. It is late where we are. It is 11 p.m. and we're in our 30s.
Yeah,
So.
I've been up
And-
since 6. And I'm so tired.
Yeah, so have I. And Tahita work and I have kids that we have to get up in the
Yeah.
morning with. We don't get
Alright.
to sleep in
Oh,
on weekends.
No, we can definitely finish this tier list next week, week after. We can talk some other things too as things unfold in the community. Yeah, let's just like close this out. Like let's see what we got on the list. So I I had a lot of fun with the beta. I know Dahita Work had a lot of fun with beta. Unfortunately, Vance only got to play it for a little bit. I just want to talk just really quickly about what character do you want to see the most in Marvel Snap? Like, what Marvel character do you want the most?
And Marvel Snap or Marvel Rivals?
Oh,
Two totally different
Marvel
games.
Rivals.
Marvel
Marvel Rivals. My bad. It's late.
I personally, I think the fandom would like this, and especially with the lore and everything, that makes sense. I want Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom.
I want the
Yeah.
Doctor in here.
Yeah.
He's such a super powered character in the series or in the Marvel universe, and the biggest villain they've probably had. So I
Yeah.
think he would be. I'm sure that he's
Yeah, I
coming.
want some more Robert Downey Jr. in my video.
Yeah, the RDJ dude.
Yeah.
So I am gonna hit you with an idea, right? So Deadpool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves
Yeah,
Deadpool.
I mean, he's obviously come. There's already been hints inside the game that Deadpool's there.
So let me pitch this idea to you. So you know how like in Team Fortress you've got the spy that runs around. Deadpool uses his fourth wall breaking ability, and he's able to infiltrate the enemy team and impersonate an enemy ally. That would be really good. He's like the assassin. Like I think that would be the coolest kit ever, is to have like a spy in that type of setup.
Okay. Mine's a little bit different. I thought about this for a long time because I've been obsessed with this game for the last week, and I want to see Dr. Octopus. I want to have the legs and be walking on the walls, just yeah, no.
Ripping off parts of the building and throwing it.
Oh my god, that's so insane. Just think of all the cool things you could do with Dr. Octopus's kit. That's what I want to see, man.
That would be pretty cool.
All right. So yeah, I mean, I think that's all we have for this week. I'm sorry we didn't get through the tier list, but we'll definitely pick that back up, especially if we have positive reception to this. So we had a follow, and like I'd like to thank you, the GOAT JV1, for the follow.
Yeah.
We appreciate that, man.
You're a real one.
So you're the real one. So we're gonna keep doing this because we love talking video games. We love playing video games. We really enjoyed Marvel Rivals. We're gonna keep at this. We're gonna try to upload semi-regularly while we're in this phase between the beta to the next open beta or even game release. We won't be able to upload as much as we'd like, so maybe every 2 weeks. If things are really happening, maybe every week. But we're gonna keep that up. So I just want to thank you guys for listening, and we just like to plug ourselves a little bit. You can always catch me at Twitch TV/Conrad Gunther, a description or link down in the description below. And I'd really appreciate you guys hanging out and watching me get mad at video games. So
He does that a lot. He's the tilt master.
So let's take it over. Please plug yourselves, guys.
The heater work, not at Twitch yet, but I will be soon.
And Vance Helsing Gaming, both on Twitch and YouTube. I've been slacking on content, but now that we're doing this stuff, you'll see probably a bunch of Marvel Rival stuff that pops up on my channel here in the coming weeks as I take these and I will try and edit them into more shorter, concise form content.
And last thing I'd like to say is We are going to have a YouTube page specifically for the Rivals Review podcast. That has yet to be created. We wanted to get this episode done today, and that'll be coming shortly. So please look forward to that. Do you guys have anything else for the peeps?
Oh man, so everybody look forward to Marvel Rivals whenever the open beta comes.
For those that have been watching, I love you. Thank you for hanging out with us. Really appreciate it.
A lot.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys soon because you're in my life. And I hope to see the rest of you guys around. We really look forward to where this could possibly go. You guys have a great one, and we'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.